Chapter 1872. Boom. Xiaoping had just arrived at the hall when he felt the entire starry sky tremble violently. It was as if the entire eastern cosmos had been enveloped by a mysterious force. This was an unstoppable mighty force that stirred up boundless waves. The vast void was trembling, and wave after wave of spatial storms were brewing. It was incomparably terrifying. It was as if this painting had torn apart countless dimensions and directly descended into this world. No one could resist it. The all-heavens creation map has descended. Sect Master Zhu Xian and the others were extremely excited. They immediately looked into the distance and used their divine abilities to pierce through the void. Their gazes pierced through Jianghu's star and arrived at the vacuum of the universe. In the void, thousands of starlight gathered and countless stars revolved. A huge painting enveloped countless star regions as if it was going to envelop the entire eastern cosmos. Such a phenomenon could be seen in almost every corner of the eastern cosmos. Every living being could see it clearly. They felt a majestic, boundless, ancient, and chaotic aura. They wanted nothing more than to immediately prostrate themselves in worship. It could be said that this was a great power that stood at the peak of the universe. Dong, dong, dong. The painting descended and suddenly huge light gates appeared. They were distributed in various parts of the eastern cosmos. There were a total of 3,000 such light gates. Haha, after waiting for so long, the all-heavens creation map has finally appeared. I didn't expect it to appear in the eastern cosmos this time. Quick, let's hurry over. The all-heavens creation map will only appear for 3 months. After 3 months it will disappear. I don't know how long it will take for it to appear again. This is an unprecedented fortuitous encounter. Countless races will kill their way into the all-heavens creation map to fight for the fortuitous encounters. Don't talk nonsense. Let's hurry over. If we're late, the treasures will probably be snatched away by others. Many living beings were excited. They had also received news of the all-heavens creation map's appearance. This news couldn't be hidden at all. Once it appeared, it was immediately spread to various parts of the universe through the virtual network. Powerful living beings from all over the universe were all rushing toward the eastern cosmos. The almighties of the eastern cosmos had already taken the lead. They also madly rushed through the light gates, afraid that the treasures inside would be snatched away by others if they were a step too late. At this moment, many elders of the Jianghu sect were also preparing to set off. They planned to head to the light gate closest to the Jianghu sect. It wasn't very far and would probably only take a few hours to arrive. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the blink of an eye, the elders, including Xiaoping, immediately took action. They entered a flying ship and steered it away from Jianghu's star, heading towards a light gate nearby. Sect leader, what treasures are in the heavens fate map? Why are so many powerful figures gathering here? Even the opening of the heaven accessing secret area wasn't as grand as this? On the flying ship, Xiaoping looked at sect leader Zhu Xian and asked him about his doubts. The myriad heavens fortune diagram is a peerless saint artifact left behind by the Saint of Fortune. Its power can be said to be at the pinnacle of the current era. Even an ordinary saint would not be able to withstand the power of this saint artifact. It is incomparably tyrannical. Zhu Xian said, and most importantly, the Saint of Good Fortune himself was a Grandmaster Alchemist and Grandmaster Refiner. His alchemy ability nearly stood at the peak of the universe, and even the saints had once purchased pills from him. And within the Heaven's Good Fortune chart, there were also many pills left behind by the Saint of Good Fortune as well as powerful magic tools that he had casually refined. These were all treasures that left one drooling. But speaking of which, among the many precious and rare peerless treasures, I reckon that the one that the universe's lightning tribulation realm experts desire the most is the sacred pill, the Pill of Fortune. His eyes revealed a trace of light. Pill of Fortune? Xiaoping blinked his eyes, revealing a look of doubt. This Pill of Fortune is not simple. It is a saint-grade pill refined from 18,000 types of rare spirit medicines. It contains the power to seize the fortune of heaven and earth. If one were to consume a Pill of Fortune, it would immediately increase the probability of breaking through to the saint realm by 30%. I remember that there was once a Thunder Tribulation realm cultivator who obtained a Pill of Fortune and broke through to the saint realm on the spot, transcending mortality and entering sainthood. Zhu Xian sighed with emotion. Many of the elders nodded. They were also extremely tempted by the Pill of Fortune. This was a saint-grade pill that had the chance to advance to the saint realm. Nothing could compare to it. 30% chance. Xiaoping immediately understood why so many almighty figures in the universe were rushing in. Compared to the longevity fruit of the heaven accessing secret area, The pill of fortune was more important. This was the key to becoming a saint, so who wouldn't be crazy about it? Even in the central universe, many proud sons of heaven from the human race's holy land had come because of this matter. One could imagine how precious such a pill was. Although the pill of fortune is the most precious, it isn't something that can be obtained every time. There were several times when the heaven's fortune diagram appeared, but no one was able to obtain the pill of fortune. Even so, being able to obtain other precious treasures is still a great fortuitous encounter. Zhu Xian expressed that the pill of fortune was simply too precious. Even the heaven's fortune diagram might not have many. Many times they simply couldn't find the pill of fortune and returned empty-handed. So, the danger of the heaven's fortune diagram mainly comes from the other competitors? Xia Ping asked, wanting to know what dangers there were inside. No. Sect Master Zhu Xian shook his head and said, the greatest danger doesn't come from the experts of the other races, but from the creation diagram of the heavens itself. Back in the primordial era, when we fought against the demons of the abyss, the creation diagram of the heavens. In order to prevent the battle from destroying the universe, the Saint of Good Fortune used the heavens fortune diagram to instantly cover trillions of abyssal demons and seal them within the heavens fortune diagram, using the heavens fortune diagram as a battlefield. Even though we won that battle, the myriad heavens fortune diagram still sealed countless abyssal fiendish demons. If we accidentally broke one of the seals, I'm afraid that countless abyssal fiendish demons would escape. The many elders also listened attentively. They also understood just how dangerous these abyssal demons were. After all, they were terrifying demons that had survived the ancient war. Even if the saint-level demons were killed, the remaining demons were still extremely terrifying. Moreover, there were many of them. Once they escaped, they would be like ants biting an elephant to death. So that's how it is. Xia Ping nodded. He immediately gained a greater understanding of the dangers of the heavens fortune diagram. We've arrived. At this time, an elder excitedly shouted out. Not too far away from the flying ship, a massive gate of light appeared. It stretched across the world, standing tall in the void like an interstellar gate. It was even larger than an ordinary planet. At this time, many people had already flown in. Xia Ping and the others were already late. We must immediately leave the flying ship. We can only enter by ourselves. If the flying ship enters the gate of light, it will immediately be damaged. Zhu Xian immediately ordered everyone to leave the flying ship. Okay. Chapter 1873. Oh no. As soon as he entered the door of light, Xia Ping sensed a powerful spatial energy rapidly wrapping around him. He was almost unable to resist. Like an eagle grabbing a chick, he was instantly teleported out. The other Qingquan sect elders also noticed this. They felt themselves being forcefully teleported out, unable to struggle. It was as if they had been randomly teleported to various places in the All Heavens fortune map. Originally they wanted to stay together. There was strength in numbers, but clearly the All Heavens fortune map didn't give them such a plan. They were instantly separated. Rumble. After an unknown amount of time, the stars moved and the void changed. Xia Ping sensed that he had been teleported to a cosmic void. There was no one around him. Clearly, the other Qingquan sect elders were also teleported to different places. Beep beep. At this time, Xia Ping's communicator rang. He looked at it and saw that it was a message from the group. Before they set off, the sect leader had created a group for the various elders to join so that they could communicate easily. Looking at it now, it seemed that they could also use the universe virtual network in the All Heavens fortune map. They could communicate with each other without losing contact. Junior brother Xia, where are you now? The one who spoke was the sect leader Zhu Xian. I'm not sure. There's no one around me. There's nothing at all, Xia Ping said in a low voice. Zhu Xian said, I see. It seems that you were teleported to another place. I'm quite lucky. The other elders were teleported to a place close to where they were, so it was easy to gather together. You have to be careful on your own. Keep in touch at all times. If you get close to where we are, we can gather together. After all, it's too dangerous to fight alone. All right. Xia Ping nodded. He felt that it wasn't a bad idea to act alone. After all, he had many secrets on him. If he was with the sect leader and the others, he might expose many of his secrets. He had to do many things with his hands and feet tied. He had to avoid the sect leader and the others. Whoosh. Thinking of this, he immediately changed his appearance and aura, turning into Wu Wudi's appearance. With this disguise on him, no matter what he did, he would not have any qualms about doing it. Is this the inner space of the All Heavens fortune map? Let's see what's nearby. Xia Ping's figure flashed and he immediately left, flying into the distance. As he flew along, he discovered that vast and boundless continents had appeared in the space within the myriad heavens creation diagram. These continents floated in the boundless starry sky. Moreover, the surface area of each continent was extremely vast, no less than the surface area of an ordinary star. If humans lived on these continents, at least 1 trillion humans could live there. Unfortunately, most of these lands were in a state of desolation. There were barren mountains and wild ridges everywhere, and not even a single weed grew. It was as if they had completely lost their vitality. Dong. Xia Ping landed on one of the continents and stepped on the ground. He used his divine sense to sense the surroundings and explore the mysteries of the continents. What a hard land. After he arrived on the land, he gently stepped on it and immediately found that the land was extremely hard. It seemed that there were many mysterious restrictive formations set up on it. When he stepped on it, a crack that was thousands of kilometers long would have appeared on an ordinary continent. However, this continent was different. It was completely unscathed. Not even a crack had appeared on it. As expected of the land within the fortune map of all heavens. It's actually this strong. Xia Ping exclaimed inwardly. Even if countless Thunder Tribulation Realm experts fought on this continent and used all their skills and divine abilities, they still wouldn't be able to do anything to this continent. But even so, this continent was still devoid of vitality. The surroundings were filled with dense and sinister demonic qi, which had yet to dissipate even now. One could completely imagine how tragic the war with the demons of the abyss in the primordial era had been. Even such a continent had been turned into a dead zone. It said that there was originally only one continent in the space within the fortune map of all heavens. However, after the war in the primordial era, this continent was smashed into pieces. At this time, Corinne opened his mouth and said, "These continents that we are seeing now are some fragments that appeared after that continent shattered." He had also lived for countless years, so he naturally knew some information about the fortune map of all heavens. He remembered that he had entered the fortune map of all heavens with his previous master to search for treasures and obtained many treasures. "Oh, then do you know where I can find creation pills?" Xia Ping. "I'm not sure." Corinne shook his head. "You can only rely on luck. This is because the fortune map of all heavens is boundless, even larger than the Eastern universe. After that continent shattered, it turned into countless fragments that were scattered all over the place. It can be said that every continent fragment might have treasures left behind by the Saint of Good Fortune, or there might not be any. In short, you need to search carefully to have a chance to obtain them." It indicated that if an ordinary cultivator entered, even if they spent 3 months searching, they wouldn't be able to obtain anything. This was also a common occurrence. Moreover, every continent had powerful array formations protecting it. Ordinary cultivators were unable to see through the truth of the continent, nor were they able to know what was inside. "Can I only use the wish compass to find the creation good fortune pill?" Xia Ping didn't want to use the wish compass because the more he used it, the less energy it would contain. If he used it now because of a minor matter like this, then it would likely run out of energy at a critical moment. Thus, he wanted to use the best steel to sharpen his blade. "I'll look around first. It won't be too late to use it when there are no more clues." Xia Ping immediately made his decision. His figure flickered as he searched through the vast continents along the way. At the same time, he activated the golden crow eye of hell and immediately saw through the array formations of these continents. There are actually abyssal demons sealed here. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He discovered that there were many barren continents that had a massive number of abyssal demons sealed away, becoming prisons for them. It was impossible for them to escape. But if he were to foolishly rush in, he wouldn't be able to obtain any treasures. Instead, he would become food for the abyssal demons. Sometimes, these continents were simply traps. This continent seems to have some rare treasures. Suddenly, Xia Ping's eyes brightened. He could see that deep within the array formations of a continent in front of him was a treasure trove. There were countless powerful magic tools as well as all sorts of rare and precious materials. Among these magic tools, one was the most tyrannical. It was a crimson furnace that was covered with dense mystical runes. It emitted a tyrannical holy aura, as if it could distort space. Saint artifact. Without a doubt, this was a saint artifact. What a good treasure. Chapter 1874. There are abyss demons here too? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He soon discovered that the depths of the dark continent were filled with thick demonic aura. There were at least millions of abyss demons sealed in the depths of the continent. And the huge red cauldron was the core of the formation, responsible for suppressing the many abyss demons. If he broke the array formation, he would definitely let these powerful demons escape. At that time he would also encounter these abyssal demons. Without sage-level demons, no matter how many come, they are just going to die. I can kill all these abyss demons and plunder their soul energy. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He felt that this was killing two birds with one stone. Thinking of this, he didn't hesitate. He used the Hell Golden Crow's eye to find a flaw in the formation's operation. With a light point, a beam of red energy instantly pierced through the ceiling formation. Dong, dong, dong. In an instant, the restriction formation on this darkness continent shattered like tofu. It was as if a chain reaction had occurred, and countless runes on the formation were shattered from the tremors. A terrifying wave of abyss demon aura erupted from the depths of the continent. It was so thick that one couldn't see anything. It was as if the surrounding billions of kilometers had turned into a dark domain. Kiki, we're out. We're finally out. How many years has it been? We're finally out. This damned formation is finally broken. That creation ghost has been dead for God knows how many years, but he's still suppressing us. But can he? In the end, we still managed to escape. We have to thank this human. If he hadn't broken the formation, we wouldn't have had the chance to escape. In order to thank him, I've decided to swallow his body and tear apart his soul. I'll let him die painlessly. All human bastards have to die. All have to die. Many abyss demons flew out from the continent. They danced and laughed. Their strengths varied. At the very least, they were at the Golden Core realm. The stronger ones were at the Transcendence realm. However, there were no Thunder Tribulation realm demons. Perhaps they were suppressed in other continents and not in this place. What was worth noting was that there were too many abyss demons. Just looking at them with the naked eye, there were 5 million of them. They were densely packed and filled the void, making one's scalp go numb. Rumble, in a flash, these abyssal demons weren't polite and immediately attacked Xia Ping. Terrifying abyssal power burst out and formed death rays that bombarded him. Once hit by this force, one would instantly be pierced through like a beehive. Even if they were lucky enough to avoid death, the abyssal demonic power would quickly corrode their bodies, contaminate their magic power, and disturb their sea of consciousness and soul. A bunch of idiots. Do you think I released you because I'm tired of living? Die all of you. Xia Ping was very emotional. He remembered the first time he encountered an abyss demon. Even a golden core demon could easily kill him and tear him into pieces. But it was different now. The so-called golden core realm fiendish demons were only like ants, and they could be killed with a wave of their hand as easily as blowing off dust. Dong. With a thought, a strong force rushed out from the depths of his sea of consciousness. The Dharma of a golden crow of hell appeared, shocking the world and spanning across the void. At the same time, Xia Ping set up a huge formation within a radius of a few thousand kilometers, Flame River Golden Crow Formation. This was a fire-type formation that he had learned from the Yellow River of Hell formation. Although this formation was simple, when used with the power of the Golden Crow of Hell's flames, the explosive power was enough to destroy all the abyssal demons. Boom! Xia Ping circulated his transcendence energy. The essence of the sun, the earth core spirit fire, the drought demon fire, the angel fire, the dragon fire, the star blazing fire, the hell fire, the golden crow fire, the fire of life, and many other rare flames instantly surged out. Immediately, these rare flames turned into one terrifying river after another. Those were flaming rivers formed by the rare flames. There were a total of 9 flaming rivers that spanned hundreds of millions of kilometers and pierced through the void. The 9 flaming rivers formed a maze that enveloped all the abyssal demons. The surrounding void turned into a flaming domain that no one could escape. The Dharma of the Golden Crow of Hell sat at the core of the formation. It turned into an eternal sun that burned fiercely, providing endless energy. Zzzzz. When the power of the flaming rivers descended, the surrounding abyssal demon chi was immediately burned and purified. All the abyssal demon chi was burned and turned into nothingness. Damn it, this is an extraordinary flame of heaven and earth. Don't touch it, don't touch it. If you touch it, you will die. Ah, shameless human, if you have the guts, let's not use the extraordinary flame and fight one-on-one. No, I just came out and just got burned to death. God, you are so unfair. Did you give birth to a son without eyes? The abyssal demons let out shrill cries. They had been extremely proud just now and had planned to tear Xia Ping apart as soon as they came out and use him as food for their escape. But who would have thought that just as they rushed out, they would be surrounded by the extraordinary flame that burned the void. The power of the extraordinary flame dripped from their bodies. It was like fire meeting gasoline, burning fiercely. In the end, the abyssal demons turned into huge torches that were thousands of feet tall, burning their spiritual souls. In just a few breaths, more than half of the abyssal demons had turned into dried corpses. Kill him, we must kill this human. Kill him and the formation will collapse on its own. An abyssal demon at the peak of the Dharma stage roared angrily. It had seen through the core of this matrix. As long as they could kill Xia Ping, then they would be able to escape from this matrix and escape with their lives. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Hearing this, the abyssal demons went crazy. They channeled their demonic power to the extreme, and like black lasers they rushed towards the core of the formation, wanting to tear it apart. Close. Xia Ping was expressionless as he gently clasped his hands together. Immediately, countless flame runes vibrated and quickly turned into two huge flaming hands. These were the hands of a giant, and each was thousands of kilometers long. It was as if they could crush a planet with just one hand. The two huge flaming hands crushed towards the center and closed together. Boom. Before the abyssal demons knew what was happening, in the next second, their entire bodies were suppressed by the two huge hands. It was as if Mao Tai was pressing down on them, and they were instantly crushed into meat paste. Some abyssal demons with strong recovery abilities still tried to recover. Countless pieces of flesh wriggled, but it was useless. The extraordinary flame burned and instantly ignited all the blood in their bodies. In an instant, they'd been transformed into ashes, and they'd only left behind shrill cries of misery, terror, and unwillingness. Too weak. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and could not help but sigh. Chapter 1875. Damn it. How can this human be so strong? This doesn't make sense. Is he still a Dharma plane human? Is he not human? Oh my God. He killed half of our army in an instant. What's the point of fighting? Everyone, don't be afraid. That brat's spiritual power might not be very strong. That attack just now probably used up all his strength. He definitely can't be this strong next. Don't boost his morale now. The group of abyssal demons trembled and wanted to cry. They could feel the ferocious aura emanating from this human. Who were the real abyssal demons? Why was this human more ferocious than them? But they also knew that they couldn't surrender. Humans and abyssal demons basically couldn't coexist. They were mortal enemies. What are you still discussing here? All of you die. Xia Ping had no intention of stopping. He willed and controlled the array. Immediately, the abyssal demons' hair stood on end. They felt fatal killing intent coming. It was like they were lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Bastard, let's fight it out with this human. I don't believe this human is really that strong. Self-destruct, immediately self-destruct. Even if we die, we have to drag this human down with us. The group of abyssal demons roared. Being forced to such a state, they went crazy. Some of them planned to self-destruct and blast open the array. Self-destruct? Do you think you have that chance? Xia Ping sneered and formed a seal with both hands. He immediately activated the Golden Crow of Hell bloodline in his body. Countless Golden Crow runes surged out of his body and poured into the core of the array. Rumbled in an instant, the entire array shook. Countless flames trembled. Runes appeared and quickly transformed into Golden Crows of Hell. They were palm-sized and completely dark gold. But there were too many of them. There were more than 10 million of them. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The Golden Crows of Hell let out earth-shattering cries. They turned into a sea of fire that flapped their wings and pounced at the group of abyssal demons. Dong dong dong. Because these Golden Crows of Hell were too fast, they were like beams of light. Before the abyssal demons could react, their bodies were pierced. At the same time, deviant flames burst out from the bodies of these abyss demons. It was like flames igniting fuel, instantly burning them, turning them into huge torches. A few minutes later, this group of abyss demons was completely killed. Not a single one was left. Not bad soul energy. Xia Ping circulated his devouring power, immediately devouring the souls of the dead abyssal demons into his body. Then he rapidly refined them, condensing them into soul crystals. After devouring these soul crystals, he felt that his primordial spirit was improving crazily. The magic power in the depths of his body was also increasing rapidly. It was as if his magic power had been enhanced for hundreds of years. He felt that he was getting closer and closer to the mid-stage transcendence realm, and he seemed to have touched a bottleneck. Looks like this treasury belongs to me. Xia Ping circulated his cultivation technique slightly and recovered some of his magic power. After exterminating this group of abyss demons, There were no more enemies on this continent. In the center of the continent there was a huge treasury. Many treasures were stored within the treasury, and there were restrictive arrays set up around it. However, as long as one could break these restrictive arrays, they would be able to plunder all the treasures. Haha, human, it's been hard on you. You actually helped me clear this group of abyss demons. Now be good and die. All the treasures here belong to me, Lei Yun. Rumble. Just as Xia Ping was about to break the restrictive arrays, a thunderous sound reverberated in the distance. It reverberated for thousands of kilometers, causing the void space to tremble and buzz. Then a huge birdman appeared behind Xia Ping. The other party revealed a smug expression, holding a long spear and stabbing over. Instantly, a terrifying lightning energy was brewing. This was the Yi-Wood Divine Thunder, a top-notch lightning energy that came from the depths of the thunder dimension. It contained terrifying destructive power. In an instant, the Yi-Wood Divine Thunder exploded everywhere, causing the surrounding thousands of kilometers to tremble with lightning energy. It was as if everything in front of this lightning would be blasted into nothingness. Xia Ping felt that the power of this spear was extremely terrifying. It was as if the entire world had disappeared, leaving only a lightning spirit that walked out from the depths of chaos. It was indomitable and unstoppable, killing all enemies. This kind of power was almost unstoppable. At the same time, an arrogant voice was heard. Human, you're honored to die under my bloodline magic, the 3000 Cloud Lightning. This is one of the supreme skills of the Thunder Demon clan. Those who can try this move are all experts in the universe, the kind that will leave their names in history. At this moment, Xia Ping finally saw clearly that the one attacking him was a demon king at the peak of the Dharma plane. It had a bird's head and a human's body. It was completely purple and had a pair of wings on its back. Its body was engraved with dense purple thunder patterns. The other party held a black long spear and seemed to have mastered lightning magic. The spear carried the power of the Yi-Wood Divine Thunder, as if it was a god punishing on behalf of the heavens. It was extremely powerful and murderous, causing people to lose their minds. It had to be said that the 3000 Cloud Lightning was indeed extraordinary. If one was careless, even a powerful cultivator in the early stage of the Thunder Calamity would be seriously injured and lose all their combat power. Taotai Devour. A cold light flashed in Xia Ping's eyes. With a thought, a Dharma power of heaven and earth instantly formed. It was a Taotai completely black. It opened its mouth and a black hole appeared. An unparalleled and terrifying suction was born. Dong dong dong. In an instant, countless bolts of Yi-Wood Divine Thunder bombarded down, but it was of no use. The whole thing was swallowed by the Taotai, and all the energy was taken as its own, completely refined and devoured. Xia Ping stood still as if the earth-shattering power just now had never happened. The energy of thousands of Yi-Wood Divine Thunder turned into nothingness. Suddenly, the magic in his body churned and surged. Because he had just devoured a large amount of Yi-Wood Divine Thunder and refined it into the purest energy, it flowed into his limbs and bones. It also increased the magic in his body to a certain extent. Most importantly, the thunder runes in the depths of Xia Ping's consciousness were madly devouring the energy of the Yi-Wood Divine Thunder. It wanted to take this Divine Thunder as its own to strengthen the power of the Kuei-Bull Dharma power. Impossible. Seeing this scene, the Thunder Demon Lei Yundong was shocked. He could not believe his eyes. You actually took on my bloodline magic and scathed and devoured all the Yi-Wood Divine Thunder that I blasted down. How did you do it? Did you learn the devouring magic of the Taotai clan? He sensed that the Dharma power of heaven and earth was not to be underestimated. It seemed to emit the ferocious power of the Taotai, one of the 10 primordial beasts. It had an aura that could devour everything and devour mountains and rivers. It was as if the other party could instantly devour his entire body if he moved. Chapter 1876. Lei Yundong immediately listed Xia Ping as the most dangerous enemy. He no longer underestimated Xia Ping like before. His eyes revealed an extremely grave expression as if he was facing a great enemy. He stared at Xia Ping from head to toe as if he wanted to find all the mysteries of Xia Ping. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, a powerful aura flew over from afar and quickly arrived in front of Lei Yundong. They were all bird-headed and human-bodied, emitting powerful lightning energy. They were clearly all thunder demons. Their cultivation levels were very high, and they were at least at the early stage transcendence realm. The moment they appeared, the surrounding lightning was densely packed, forming a huge lightning formation that covered thousands of kilometers. It even connected to the various lightning dimensions. It was as if they could immediately communicate with the thunder dimension if they wanted to, causing endless lightning energy to descend from the depths of the thunder dimension and cause terrifying destruction. Young master, we're here. What happened here for you to use your divine ability, 3000 cloud lightning? Did you encounter a powerful enemy? The group of thunder demons immediately cupped their hands at Lei Yundong. They were all Lei Yundong's elite subordinates, and there were quite a lot of them. There were already 40 to 50 of them. It's nothing. An ant-like human blocked my way. He just struggled a little just now. Lei Yundong waved his hand and sneered. I also found a continent with a treasure vault inside. It seems to contain a large number of treasures. I can't miss it. What? There's a treasure vault on that continent? The treasure vault of the Heaven's Fortune map is not to be underestimated. No treasure vault is simple. There might be a divine artifact inside. Snatch. Immediately snatch this treasury. Whoever dares to resist us, thunder beasts, will die. Hearing this, many thunder demons became excited. Their eyes turned red and revealed greedy expressions. They wanted nothing more than to snatch this treasure vault and plunder all the treasures inside. Ah, snatch it. This is a treasure of the human race. Who dares to snatch it? Just you thunder demons? Human Palace of Darkness Inner Sect Disciple Taoist Extreme Evil is here. You feathered beasts, scram. At this moment, balls of black light flew over from afar. Figures immediately appeared. They were human inner sect disciples from the Central Universe's Palace of Darkness. All of them wore black clothes, had ferocious expressions, and their bodies were suffused with a dense aura of darkness, slaughter, blood, iron, and so on and so forth. All of them were experienced in battle. It was unknown how many living beings had been killed in order to produce such a bloody and fiendish aura. Human race's Palace of Darkness? Upon hearing this voice, Lei Yundong's face turned extremely ugly. He did not expect to encounter such a powerful enemy at this time. They had also heard of the Palace of Darkness. It was a tyrannical force that stood at the peak of the universe. No race could underestimate it. So what if you're from the Palace of Darkness? First come, first served. This treasure vault was discovered by the Thunder Goblin clan. You're dreaming if you want to snatch it. It shouted loudly, indicating that it would never back down. At any rate, this was the treasury inside the Myriad Heavens creation map. Who knows what kind of treasures could be inside? There might even be a sacred artifact or even a good fortune pill inside. No matter what, they would accompany him to the end. First come, first served? You also understand this principle? Can't you see that this treasury was discovered by us humans? You're just latecomers, yet you want to snatch it from us? The one who spoke was the leader of the Palace of Darkness disciples, Taoist Extreme Evil. He looked like a young man in his 20s and was very feminine and handsome. However, his eyes revealed a sinister look like that of a jackal. He was definitely a ruthless character. Damn it. Lei Yundong and the other thunder goblins had ugly expressions. This was indeed the case. This human was the first to discover this treasury, and he had even killed all the abyss demons. If it was first come, first served, they had no right to take it. Friend, you're also a disciple of the human race. You should know the prestige of the Palace of Darkness. We're the holy land of the human race. We rule over everything. All humans have to obey our orders. No one is allowed to disobey us, Taoist Extreme Evil said. Go and break the restriction formation of the treasury immediately. We'll help you block this group of thunder goblins. Take the opportunity to take out all the treasures in the treasury. However, you can't touch any of the treasures inside. You can only choose the remaining treasures after we're done choosing. Of course, you'll also have some credit for finding this treasury. We'll also give you some rewards depending on the situation. We won't let you suffer any losses. He issued an order to Xia Ping in an arrogant manner, treating Xia Ping as his subordinate. Scram. Xia Ping's answer was very simple. He looked coldly at Taoist Extreme Evil and said, You want to snatch the treasury that I've worked so hard to find and all the treasures with just a few words? Who do you think you are? I don't care if you're an inner disciple of the Palace of Darkness. What does that have to do with me? No one can snatch what belongs to me. Whoever dares to stretch out their claws, I'll kill them immediately. He felt that this kid had lost his mind. Did he really think that he could make him give up all the treasures with just a few words? Did he really think that he was the king of heaven? It was simply hilarious. This guy was probably used to acting like a tyrant in the central cosmos. He thought that he could do the same in the eastern cosmos. Unfortunately, he had found the wrong person to show off. Impudent. Hearing this, a disciple of the Palace of Darkness was so angry that he immediately cursed, Who do you think you are? How dare you insult the Palace of Darkness? Do you want your clan to die? We came to help you out of kindness and saved your life. What's wrong with obtaining all the treasures? If you were alone, you would have been killed by the thunder beasts long ago. How could you still run rampant here? Now that we've given you a few treasures, it's a great gift to you. How dare you bark here? He was furious. He felt that the kid in front of him did not know how to appreciate favors. Wuxia? I've never even heard of him. We're inner sect disciples of the Palace of Darkness. In the human race we can summon the wind and summon the rain. Who would dare to disobey us? How dare you defy our orders? You must be a spy from another race. Or a disciple of the Palace of Darkness. He immediately accused Xiaoping of being a spy and tried to frame him. Kill him immediately. You don't know how to appreciate favors. Since that's the case, then die. Don't even think about getting a single cent today. You'll still have to die. The venomous Taoist was so angry that he almost went crazy. One had to know that his identity was extraordinary. Even in the Palace of Darkness, his status was extremely high. He was the descendant of a saint, an inner disciple, and a top expert at the peak of the Dharma plane. He could break through to the Thunder Retribution realm at any time. It could be said that with his identity, strength, and status, who would dare to disrespect him, the venomous Taoist? Even in the Palace of Darkness, many disciples could not stand up to his authority. But now, a little country boy, a nobody who came out of nowhere, actually dared to oppose him and call him something. This was clearly a slap in the face. Chapter 1877. Kill. The ultimate vile divine technique is full of evil and unforgivable. Suddenly, the ultimate vile Taoist made his move. His body turned into a beam of black light and emanated a black evil aura, as if he were a criminal who had committed heinous crimes. For the sake of cultivating this peerless cultivation technique, his hands were covered in blood. It was unknown just how many living beings he had killed. By absorbing the boundless resentment, anger, and hatred left behind by these living beings after they died, he then refined these negative energies into one and fused them into his body. In this way he would be able to cultivate a body of 10,000 evils. Boom. As soon as he made his move, he pounced forward like a tiger. His fist smashed down, tearing the void apart and creating a black hole that swallowed the heavens and the earth. The air was filled with a terrible aura of sin, and ghosts wailed and wolves howled. This punch had reached the limit of the peak of the Dharma plane and contained a trace of the power of a Thunder Retribution realm cultivator. It exploded with the power to destroy stars. Even an early Thunder Retribution realm cultivator would have to avoid it, or they would be seriously injured. It could only be said that he was indeed a top expert from the Palace of Darkness. This divine ability alone was enough to explode with earth-shattering power. It was as if a sinful madman had appeared and was about to slaughter the world. In the distance, the thunder demons also saw this scene. Haha, these humans are really stupid. They're fighting each other. Don't worry about these idiots. Let them fight each other. When they're both injured, we'll make our move and reap the benefits. The heavens are really helping us thunder demons. It's best if both sides are injured. When most of them are dead, we can easily take care of them. The thunder demons laughed loudly and were extremely pleased. They had not expected things to go so smoothly. Before they could even make a move, the humans were already fighting each other. They were in a good mood, so they just watched from the sidelines and reaped the benefits. Thousand-armed Buddha. Xiaoping's mind moved and a Dharma idol burst out of his body. It was a thousand-armed Buddha with a benevolent face and radiating golden light. It was as if the thousand-armed Buddha had lit up the dark true void for thousands of kilometers. All the darkness was expelled and all the impurities were purified. In the depths of the void, the sound of hundreds of millions of Buddhas chanting could be vaguely heard. World-cleansing and refining flowers appeared all around, filled with the fragrance of lotus flowers. Dong. The Dharma idol of heaven and earth unleashed the power of a Buddha, shattering Taoist extreme fiend's fist strike and dispersing all of the fiendish aura and sinful aura. What? Taoist extreme evil was shocked. He could feel the evil aura on his body melting away like snow under the sun when it came into contact with the Buddhist light. Even the billions of wronged souls in his body seemed to be illuminated by the Buddha's light at this moment. His face showed mercy, and all the resentment and anger in his body were purified. It was as if he was about to be liberated and become a Buddha. It was even to the extent that his soul was bathed in boundless Buddhist light, and he felt a grand, vast, mighty, divine, benevolent, warm, and various other auras all around him. This aura encompassed everything, and it was as if he'd fallen into a kingdom of Buddha. It was as if he was about to be purified and converted to Buddhism. Wu Wudi, you actually want to convert me? You're courting death. Taoist extreme evil was enraged to the extreme. His eyes were bloodshot, making him look like a scarlet-eyed fiend. This kind of behavior, this kind of divine power, was something he could not tolerate. This was clearly trying to kill him, destroy his foundation, and touch his reverse scale. If the endless resentment in his body melted away, then his foundation would be destroyed, and all the years of cultivation would be for naught. His entire body of evil would collapse and he would be reduced to ashes. There was no doubt that this Wu Wudi was his mortal enemy. Ah, go to hell. Evil steel trident, god of the underworld's hell. Taoist extreme evil roared angrily. His lifespan was burning and so was his qi, blood and spirit. The magic power in his body increased exponentially, becoming several times stronger. Dong. His body emitted a thick, dark, evil aura, and a Dharma idol of heaven and earth rushed out of the black mist. It was an ancient demon god like the god of the underworld from hell. It was surrounded by the aura of sin and countless ghosts were howling. It held a steel trident and its face was ferocious. It had 3 heads and 6 arms, and there was a dark halo behind it. It was like a god that ruled over all evil, and people could not help but be afraid. Even the lightning demons in the surroundings couldn't help but retreat a few hundred kilometers while fear arose in their hearts, and their gazes were heavy. They were deeply afraid of being implicated and being stabbed to death by a steel fork. They could also feel how terrifying Taoist extreme evil was now. Thousand-armed Buddha, Buddhist kingdom in the palm. Xia Ping was expressionless. He formed a seal with both hands and the thousand-armed Buddha moved. Thousands of golden hands waved and palm shadows overlapped. Suddenly millions of palm prints appeared. The countless palm prints gathered together, forming a huge golden palm. A swastika symbol appeared in the center of the palm, emitting a strong Buddhist aura. Endless Buddhist power gathered in the center of the palm. Immediately, the golden palm gently slapped down, shaking the void. Bang. Before Taoist extreme evil's Dharma idol could do anything, the Dharma idol of heaven and earth exploded, disintegrating inch by inch. Even the steel trident on its body was shaken into powder. Taoist extreme evil's power could not withstand the palm at all. His power was instantly destroyed and everything turned into nothingness. No, this is impossible. My hyperfiend god art, my invincible hyperfiend steel pitchfork, and my infernal deity Dharma idol. How could I possibly lose? How could I possibly lose? He's just a brat from the wildlands? Taoist extreme evil was completely crazy. He could not believe that his Dharma idol had been destroyed by a palm before he had even made a move. He could not accept this result. After all, he was an inner disciple from the Palace of Darkness, a descendant of a saint, and a proud son of heaven. He was destined to stand at the top of this universe in the future. How could he lose to a nobody? Ah! Taoist extreme evil could not help but let out a shrill scream. As his Dharma idol exploded, the tyrannical Buddhist power instantly spread throughout his body. He felt that every cell in his body was being crushed. Under the Buddhist light that filled the sky, there was no way for him to resist. It was as if this had the power of great liberation. Boom. Immediately, his whole body exploded and shattered in mid-air. Chapter 1878. That's impossible. Senior brother Extreme Malice is dead. He was killed by a single palm strike. What happened? Illusion. This must be an illusion. Senior brother Extreme Malice has cultivated his Extreme Malice divine technique to an extremely high level. He's invincible. How could this puny human be a match for senior brother Extreme Malice? No, this isn't an illusion. Don't lie to yourself. Senior brother Extreme Malice is really dead. He was killed by Wu Wudi with a single palm strike. Damn it. Where did Wu Wudi come from? How could he have such remarkable powers? His magic power is even stronger than us disciples of the Palace of Darkness. Is this a joke? Could there be a force stronger than us in the universe? Many disciples of the Palace of Darkness could not help but cry out. They had seen Taoist Extreme Malice killed with a single palm strike without any resistance. His entire body had been pulverized. This fact shocked them greatly. They immediately recalled what it meant to say that there was always someone better than you out there. Entering the Palace of Darkness, the sacred land of the human race, was not enough to make one invincible. How could this human Wu Wudi be so terrifying? Some of the thunder demons were also shocked. Although they were not the ones involved, they were great demons after all. They had discerning eyes and naturally knew how tyrannical Wu Wudi was. Taoist extreme malice was considered one of the top experts. Even among the thunder demons there were not many who could compare to him. However, this kid had killed Taoist extreme malice with a single palm strike. One could imagine how terrifying Wu Wuti was. This Wu Wuti is too much of a threat. He's more of a threat than anyone else here. He's either from some ancient human family or some ancient sacred land, or he's obtained the inheritance of a saint. Lei Yundong narrowed his eyes. He had previously taken Wu Wuti seriously, but now he immediately felt that the threat level of Wu Wuti had increased by several levels. I'm sorry. I was too powerful and couldn't hold back, so I killed Taoist extreme malice. It's all my fault. I didn't expect Taoist extreme malice from the sacred land of the human race, the Palace of Darkness, to be so weak. He couldn't even withstand a single blow. This is a little unexpected. Xia Ping looked apologetic. He was very sorry. However, the disciples of the Palace of Darkness were furious when they heard this. What did he mean? He was clearly going to kill them because they were too weak. He even said that he couldn't hold back and killed senior brother Extreme Malice with a single palm strike. It was obvious that he had done it on purpose, and he had even expended a great deal of effort to do so. He was clearly saying that he couldn't hold back and killed senior Malice with a single palm strike. He had done it on purpose and had even used so much strength. This bastard was clearly looking down on the disciples of the Palace of Darkness. He said that they were so weak and that they were a disgrace to the holy land of the human clan. Wu Wuti you. Wu 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 Wuti you, he said. Defeating senior brother Extreme Malice is nothing. Our Palace of Darkness has as many experts as there are clouds in the sky. There are many who can kill you. Fellow brothers, I can't tolerate this brat for even a second. He actually dares to insult our Palace of Darkness like this. We must kill him and use his blood to wash away this humiliation. Wu kill Wu Wu. 9 heavens 10 earths Hell King formation descend. Many disciples of the Palace of Darkness were thoroughly enraged. They flew into a rage and instantly scattered to different locations. The demonic arts between them surged and gushed out. In an instant, a great formation rose up. Countless formation runes intertwined with each other, covering a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers, shaking the boundless starry sky. Rumble. As soon as the spell formation appeared, the darkness dimension, devil dimension, blood dimension, and other dimensional spaces opened up. Endless devil energy poured out of the black holes and converged at the center of the spell formation. It was as if everything within hundreds of millions of kilometers of the spell formation had turned into a boundless domain of devils. It was even darker than the dark true void, so much so that one couldn't even see their own fingers in front of their faces. In fact, the area covered by the domain of devils seemed to have turned into a prison of darkness that locked down the sky and sealed off the void. No one could escape from it. Bastards. These humans from the Palace of Darkness actually know how to use spell formations like this to connect to the domain of darkness and create a prison of darkness. Are they trying to kill us all in one fell swoop? Lei Yundong couldn't help but scream. He immediately realized that many of his lightning demons had been caught up in the spell formation and were being attacked indiscriminately. Even if they wanted to sit back and watch the tigers fight, the disciples of the Palace of Darkness would have to pay attention to them at all times. They wouldn't let the lightning demons reap the benefits so easily. Damn it, these despicable humans. They're fighting amongst themselves and they even noticed us. Don't worry, we lightning demons aren't to be trifled with. Gather together and set up a spell formation to defend against the 9 heavens 10 earths Hell King formation. Don't fall for it. The lightning demons looked very unsightly. They quickly gathered together, gathering their power to defend against the sudden appearance of the 9 heavens 10 earths Hell King formation, and to prevent the humans from the Palace of Darkness from launching a sneak attack. Wu Wuti, today I'll show you how powerful the Palace of Darkness is and why we can become the sacred land of the human race. The secret martial arts techniques we have are definitely not something a country bumpkin like you can compare to. Blood sacrifice to the heavens, Hell Whirlpool, resurrect the Hell King. The disciples of the Palace of Darkness shouted angrily. They formed seals with their hands and activated the spell formation. Immediately, endless dark energy gathered together and quickly condensed into an ancient god. It was like the Hell King that had walked out of the depths of hell. It wore a crown on its head and held a trident in its hand. It was thousands of feet tall and emitted divine might that shook the heavens and the earth. As soon as the Hell King's Hell King clone appeared, the energy in the void seemed to stop circulating. The surroundings were filled with the aura of judgment, causing many souls to tremble. The Hell King's clone? How dare you use this magical power in front of me? You're simply displaying your slight skill before an expert. Xia Ping saw through the spell formation at a glance. It was just a fake, but it was powerful enough to deal with ordinary people. However, it was far from enough to deal with him. Rumble, in an instant he activated the spiritual power in his body, and 3 Dharma powers appeared behind him. One was the 1,000-armed Buddha, shining with golden light. Lotus flowers bloomed under its feet, and there seemed to be billions of Buddhas chanting. Countless Buddhist runes flashed and fell from the sky. Another was the 1,000-eyed demon, with thousands of eyes growing on its body. It seemed that each eye represented a kind of suffering in the world, and it contained the endless power of hell. The last one was the Kuei cow. Its huge body was covered in dense purple lightning patterns, and its entire body was surrounded by purple lightning. As soon as it appeared, it seemed to communicate with the dimension of thunder, and a huge sea of lightning appeared under its feet. As soon as the 3 Dharma powers appeared, they were distributed in 3 positions, forming the 3 Greats formation. Each one contained the power of the peak of the Dharma realm, and it was earth-shattering. Chapter 1879. 3 Universal Dharma Powers? How is that possible? Shouldn't a person only have 1 universal Dharma power? Why can he activate 3 at the same time? Does he have 3 primordial spirits? Seeing 3 universal Dharma powers appear on Xia Ping's body at the same time, many disciples of the Palace of Darkness were shocked. They could not believe their eyes because this was beyond their common sense. It was simply unimaginable. It was already incredible for such a powerful universal Dharma power to appear. Who knew how much heaven and earth essence chi it had to devour? However, the appearance of 3 universal Dharma powers at the same time scared them so much that their minds went blank. Damn it, he has actually condensed 3 universal Dharma powers. His Dharma power is at least 3 times that of an ordinary cultivator. Damn it, how strong is his Dharma power? Many disciples of the Palace of Darkness suddenly understood why Wu Wudi's Dharma power was so strong that it exceeded that of disciples from the holy lands of the human race. If he had condensed 3 universal Dharma powers, then all their doubts would be easily solved. However, they did not understand at this moment. They were all humans, so how could this kid condense 3 universal Dharma powers? However, no matter what they did, they could not do anything. Could it be that his cultivation method was very unique? That it was stronger than the cultivation method of the Palace of Darkness? No. They would not believe it even if they were beaten to death. They thought that the Palace of Darkness was the strongest and one of the 2 holy lands of the human race. They were invincible and had countless saints. How could they not be comparable to this guy who came from nowhere? Kill? Xia Ping was not interested in answering the questions of the disciples of the Palace of Darkness. He formed a seal with both hands and activated all the Dharma power in his body. He mobilized his sea of consciousness and the 3 universal Dharma powers immediately moved. The Kuei bull Dharma power was the most violent. It was like a wild bull rampaging around. Its body was filled with thousands of purple thunderbolts, forming a sea of thunder that covered a radius of 1,000 miles. Moreover, this was not an ordinary thunderbolt. It was the tribulation thunder of heaven and earth. The destructive power contained in it was estimated to be more than 10 times that of ordinary thunderbolts. This was enough to make countless cultivators tremble in fear, especially the group of thunder demons. They were naturally proficient in the power of thunder. No one knew better than them how terrifying the thunderbolts were. It was definitely the power that they dreamed of. However, this power was in the hands of a human. They were so jealous that they went crazy. This human must have cultivated a supreme lightning elemental cultivation technique to be able to control the tribulation lightning. Lei Yundong's eyes shone with a frightening light. He immediately wanted to kill this human and steal his treasures. If they could get this thunder attribute cultivation technique from this human, it would definitely be of great use to their Thunder Beastkin clan. Maybe it could make the strength of the entire Thunder Beastkin clan soar. As the Kuei ox charged over, the surrounding dark demon chi was repelled. Bolts of purple lightning descended, instantly tearing the dark demon domain apart. Damn it! Block it! Block this heaven and earth Dharma idol. Completely destroy this Kuei ox. A disciple of the Palace of Darkness roared. Rumble, the entire formation surged madly. Boundless demonic chi surged and quickly condensed into numerous demonic soldiers. They held long spears in their hands and formed an orderly army. There were more than 10 million of them. These demon soldiers were like ants as they pounced towards the Kuei ox, wanting to tear it into pieces. 1,000-armed Buddha, condensed chi into a ball, and meteors fall from the sky. There was no way Xia Ping would let the disciples of the Palace of Darkness have their way. With a thought, he formed a seal with his hands and activated his powers. Another heaven and earth Dharma idol, the thousand-armed Buddha, moved. Its entire body shone and scriptures appeared within it. Thousands of golden hands waved and grabbed at the air, condensing chi into a ball. It was as if all the chi of heaven and earth in the surroundings were grasped in the hands and compressed. Then, thousands of golden hands smashed the energy ball that was dozens of kilometers in diameter. Majestic aura, like countless meteors bombarding down, was overbearing. Dong dong dong. Dong dong. In an instant, the entire formation was filled with loud explosions, producing a powerful destructive force. The demonic soldiers were blown to pieces, leaving not even their corpses behind as it swept through everything. Hades' Dharma idol, invincible, vast, epic. The disciples of the Palace of Darkness gave it their all. They bit their tongues and spat out a mouthful of essence blood, burning the blood in their bodies and activating all their powers. In an instant, the formation was almost activated to the extreme, and its power increased abruptly. Immediately, the sky was filled with demonic chi. Countless demonic runes appeared and quickly gathered together, forming a vast river. It was as if one civilization after another appeared in the river, and then quickly fell and withered. From the depths of the underworld river, an ancient god holding a spear walked out. It was covered in black armor and emitted a terrifying aura that could crush the sky. With a gentle slash of its spear, the world seemed to be torn apart. Even an impostor dares to be arrogant with me. Today I will show you the true power of hell. Don't make a fool of yourself in front of me. Xia Ping sneered, and the power of the golden crow of hell surged out of his body. The eye of hell in his left eye spun, and it was as if a world of hell had descended from the void. Boom. Finally, the thousand-eyed demon, the heaven and earth Dharma idol, made its move. It obtained the vast hell energy from Xia Ping, and its body suddenly grew to a height of thousands of meters. Over 1,000 eyes opened and spun about, containing terrifying radiance. It was sinister and strange, as if a hell was sealed within the depths of every single eye, sealing countless gods and devils. Swoosh. Swoosh. In an instant, the demonic power in the eyes revolved, and in an instant, rays of death light shot out. They contained the terrifying power of death, hell, and destruction. They intertwined and tore the void. Dong. The body of the fake underworld king was immediately pierced, and it collapsed with a single blow. Its entire body was like a beehive, and even the underworld river was pierced and broken into more than a dozen pieces. Immediately, there seemed to be countless demons in the depths of the underworld river screaming miserably. It was as if countless resentful spirits were quickly being destroyed in the depths of the long river and turned into ashes. Rumble. The Hell King formation of the 9th heaven and 10th earth could not withstand the destruction of this power. It collapsed in an instant and all the primordial chi exploded, making a loud noise. Many disciples of the Palace of Darkness could not withstand the backlash of the formation's destruction. Waves of overbearing backlash rushed into their bodies, causing them to explode with a loud bang. One by one, the disciples of the Palace of Darkness could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Their internal organs were severely injured, and even their primordial spirits were greatly injured. Some of the disciples of the Palace of Darkness could not withstand the backlash. Their entire bodies exploded and they turned into a pile of meat paste. Moreover, they exploded continuously like fireworks exploding. Chapter 1880. Oh my God, this human is trying to defy the heavens. He actually destroyed the 9 heavens 10 earths Hell King formation by himself. Just what kind of divine ability is this? It's too exaggerated, isn't it? Seeing this, some of the thunder demons could not help but scream, dumbfounded. Many of the lightning demons couldn't help nodding their heads. They knew how powerful the 9 heavens 10 earths underworld king array was. If they were to deal with it, they would have to expend a great deal of effort to break it. They did not even know how many of their clansmen would die. But this human in front of them had used his own magical power to condense 3 Dharma powers and completely destroyed the formation. How could they not be shocked and surprised? It's time. At this time Lei Yundong stood up, his eyes shining. Immediately set up the Imu Divine Thunder formation. Gather all the power of the Imu Divine Thunder in your body and explode it instantly. Give Wu Wuti a fatal blow. You must kill this brat with one move. Destroy his primordial spirit and turn him into ashes. He clenched his fists. After waiting for a long time, he finally had the chance to capture this group of humans in one fell swoop. Yes, young master. You must seize this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Previously, I thought that Wu Wuti was dead for sure. He would definitely be beaten to death by the disciples of the Palace of Darkness. I didn't expect that the disciples of the Palace of Darkness would be defeated so easily. There are so many casualties. This is unbelievable. This proves that Wu Wudi's power is beyond everyone's imagination. A human like him is too terrifying. If he becomes a saint, will there be any way for us other clans to survive? This person must not be left alive. That's right. This guy is already so terrifying at the early Dharma stage. If he advances to the peak of the Dharma stage or even the peak of the Thunder Tribulation stage, then who can control him? Won't this brat ascend to heaven? Many of the Thunder Demons were amazed. They felt that Wu Wudi was too much of a threat. He had risen to the level of the enemy of their race, which made them want to kill him. This attack is the most crucial one. We must use all our strength and burn our own blood essence to raise the Imu Divine Thunder Formation to the limit. We must kill Wu Wudi in an instant. Lei Yundong said in a low voice. Burn our blood essence? This is going to consume your lifespan. Is there a need to be so exaggerated? It's not an exaggeration at all. The young master is right. This is a critical attack and there is no room for error. You've all seen how brutal Wu Wudi is. He's able to fight against so many Dharma adepts all by himself. If we can't kill him this time, then he will definitely become a big problem for our Thunder Beastkin in the future. It will be a disaster in an instant. Do you understand? You're right. This person is too formidable, ferocious, and conceited. He'll definitely take revenge for the smallest grievance, and he's utterly intolerant of others. If we don't kill him, I'm afraid our Thunder Demon clan will be annihilated. All the Thunder Beasts looked at each other and reached a consensus. Now's the time. Activate the spell formation. Lei Yundong bellowed. Boom! Immediately, all the Thunder Beasts formed a seal with their hands, and the Imu Divine Thunder Universe formation immediately appeared. It seemed to communicate with the Thunder Dimension, and countless thunder energy descended, almost condensing into a tangible sea of thunder. One after another, the Imu Divine Thunder vibrated in the depths of the formation. The entire formation seemed to have turned into a sphere like a thunder planet, full of terrible destructive power. Under the control of the group of Thunder Beastkin, the Thunder Planet immediately moved. Like a meteor falling, the planet was burning. It was invincible and in an instant, it smashed towards Xiaoping. This kind of impact was too terrifying. If it was in the outer universe, this attack alone would cause countless planets to collapse and shatter. Countless creatures would be shocked to death, electrocuted to death or smashed to death. Under this power, nothing within a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers could survive. The surviving disciples of the Palace of Darkness were the first to bear the brunt. When they felt this power, their expressions changed. Bastard, this group of Thunder Beastkin is actually hitting us when we're down. Hide quickly. This power is too strong. We can't resist it at all. How can we hide? There's no way to hide. It's too fast. Many disciples of the Palace of Darkness let out shrill screams, but such screams soon disappeared. This was because they were hit by the Thunder Planet and instantly turned into ashes. If it was before, they might have some means to resist and not be killed in an instant. But now, this group of disciples of the Palace of Darkness had been seriously injured by Xiaoping. How could they have any strength left? Now that they were attacked from the front and the back, they were immediately blasted into ashes. Human, go to hell. All the magic treasures on you belong to us. The biggest winner is me, Lei Yundong. Seeing so many disciples of the Palace of Darkness die, Lei Yundong laughed wildly. He was extremely proud. He felt that he seemed to be unprecedentedly powerful. When he controlled this formation, he could even easily kill a powerful cultivator in the Thunder Tribulation realm. This was the power of the formation. It could destroy heaven and earth. Hit me when I'm down? You cowardly bandits, trash who only dares to sneak attack, want to learn from others and be the fisherman? Have you measured your own strength? Your insignificant strength is nothing but trash in my eyes. Xiaoping sneered. He had been on guard against the sneak attack of the Thunder Demonic Clan. How could he not know that this group of Thunder Demonic Clan would take this opportunity to kill him and the disciples of the Palace of Darkness together? Boom. Another heaven and earth form flew out from Xiaoping's body. It was a divine elephant, indomitable and incomparably huge. It was the size of a planet. This creature seemed to have walked out of a mythical world. It stood in the void as if it was a world itself. It represented the true meaning of strength. Wisps of the divine elephant's aura descended like a crushing mountain, shaking the sky. Damn, there's another heaven and earth form. How many heaven and earth forms has this guy condensed? Is he going to let people live? Damn it. Is there no limit to his strength? Many Thunder Demonic clan were so scared that their eyeballs almost fell out. Originally, they thought that having 3 heaven and earth forms was the limit of this human. It was a shocking act. They did not expect that there would be another heaven and earth form. This was not a human at all. No matter how many heaven and earth forms he has, in front of RE would Divine Thunder Universe formation, they will all die. He has no future. A dead genius is just a cup of soil. Lei Yundong's face was ferocious. His murderous intent was boiling. His killing intent towards Xiaoping was getting stronger and stronger. It was almost overflowing and condensing into a substance. Chapter 1881. Kill him. Many Thunder Beasts shouted angrily and desperately activated the array formation. A planet like a sea of thunder rushed towards Xiaoping crazily. It was like Mount Tai pressing down on him and there was nowhere to hide. This kid's crazy. Some of the Thunder Beasts immediately noticed that the Divine Elephant didn't dodge. Instead, it charged forward recklessly, like a super cosmic fortress rushing toward them. As the Divine Elephant ran, it seemed to set off endless waves of energy, carrying with it a terrifying spatial storm. Every step it took caused terrifying fluctuations, as if a super earthquake was occurring in the dark true void. If this were a piece of land, it would have long since been crushed to pieces. But even so, a terrible tremor came from the depths of the void, condensing into tangible waves that penetrated the spell formation, causing their blood to boil and their hearts to stop. Damn it, it's going to hit us. Does this kid want to die with us? He's crazy. Lei Yundong and the other Thunder Demons were scared half to death. They could clearly feel the tyrannical power of the Divine Elephant, as if it were a divine beast with extreme power. Each and every move it made contained the power to destroy heaven and earth. Now that the Divine Elephant was charging toward them, it was like 2 huge planets had collided, or a series of car accidents had occurred on a highway. It was a scam. Kill it. Kill the Divine Elephant immediately. Lei Yundong roared, his face ferocious. No, there's nothing we can do. This Divine Elephant seems to have a divine ability that makes it invulnerable. One of the Thunder Demons couldn't help but cry out. They were shocked to find that the Divine Elephant was crushing everything in its path like a bulldozer. Any lightning power that hit the Divine Elephant couldn't do any damage to it. It was as if the Divine Elephant's body was covered by an absolute energy barrier that no energy could break through. The lightning power that they were so proud of was useless. It's over. Lei Yundong's face fell and his heart sank to the bottom of the sea. Boom. In the blink of an eye, the Divine Elephant charged over. It was just a collision, but it was like a landslide and a tsunami. The entire planet condensed from lightning collapsed in an instant and was smashed into pieces. Many of the Thunder Beasts felt this overwhelming power. It was invincible and the entire formation collapsed in an instant. It collapsed inch by inch like a stone hitting an egg. There was no resistance at all. They felt that this power was really too strong. It could be said to be the power of a divine beast, surpassing everything. It was indescribably strong. This was the true boundless power. This power was simply too pure. There were no impurities in it. It was just a tyrannical power. However, when it was pure to the extreme, it meant that it was extremely powerful. It was enough to break through space. Pooh. Because of the collapse of the formation, many Thunder Beasts immediately suffered a backlash. All of them couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Their internal organs were also severely injured. Some of the weaker Thunder Beasts were smashed into minced meat, badly mutilated. Run. Run. We can't fight this person head-on. How can there be a human with such dense magic power? Even divine beasts are no better than this. We can't continue fighting. Otherwise we'll definitely die. Young Lord will bring up the rear. We'll burn our lifespan and magic power to block this human for a moment. Hurry back to the clan and mobilize the army to avenge us. Many Thunder Beasts roared. Some of the loyal Thunder Beasts even stood up and burned all their magic power and lifespan in an attempt to create a chance for Lei Yundong to escape. You still want to bring up the rear? Fight for a chance to escape? Who do you think you are? All of you have to die. Xia Ping punched out. The Divine Elephant rushed over and waved its huge trunk that was thousands of kilometers long. It emitted an extremely powerful aura. It was as if the void was about to be torn apart. With just one blow, the dozen or so Thunder Beasts who were trying to bring up the rear for Lei Yundong and were planning to burn their lifespan were slapped hard by the elephant's trunk. Abundant power suddenly erupted. Dong. These Thunder Beasts didn't even have time to scream. They were instantly smashed into minced meat and their primordial spirits were destroyed. Bastard. Seeing this scene, Lei Yundong's eyes widened, and his heart was bleeding. He regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. He could only watch helplessly as the elites of his clan died like ants. He was powerless to do anything. If he had known that this human was so powerful, he would never have come forward to provoke him. But now it was too late. Infinite universe, thunder moves heaven and earth fast as thunder. Lei Yundong formed a seal with both hands and immediately burned his vitality and lifespan. In an instant he lost thousands of years of lifespan. Countless thunder runes surged out of his body and seemed to turn into an energy thunder snake. This was the escape magic of the thunder beasts, thunder snake escape. Every time it was used, it consumed a lot of lifespan. The longer the teleportation distance, the more lifespan would be consumed. Originally he wouldn't use it unless it was a critical moment. But now it was a matter of life and death. If he didn't escape now, his lifespan would be reduced to 0. This loss was nothing at all. Still want to escape? Have you asked for my permission? Xia Ping's figure flashed. Like a Kuan-Peng he escaped into the void. When he saw Lei Yundong trying to escape, he immediately flew up and slapped the void with his claw. Bloodline magic, Hell Golden Crow Claw. This claw was earth-shattering. The claw broke through the void and directly penetrated the space. It was like the claw of an ancient divine bird. It immediately descended under Lei Yundong's head and sealed the void around his body. Escape. Escape. Escape immediately. Lei Yundong's hair stood on end. He felt great danger. He couldn't help but roar and operate the spiritual power in his body to the extreme. It turned into a thunder snake and fled in all directions trying to break out. But no matter how he tried, he couldn't break through the huge dark golden claw. He slammed into the huge dark golden pillars. This was like Sun Wukong entering the Buddha's kingdom in the palm. Impossible. Why can't the thunder snake escape of the thunder beasts escape? What is going on? Lei Yundong was terrified to the extreme. His life-saving divine art had actually failed. Xia Ping didn't answer. He squeezed hard and the giant claw closed. Boom. Immediately, Lei Yundong's entire body exploded like a persimmon. He was crushed and turned into a mass of meat paste. Only his primordial spirit was left struggling. No, no, no. I, Lei Yundong, am the young master of the thunder beasts. Human, how dare you kill me? How dare you kill me? My father won't let you go. He definitely won't. Lei Yundong let out an unwilling roar. It contained resentment, anger, and unwillingness. Dong. In the next second he could no longer scream because the energy in his body exploded. His entire primordial spirit was torn apart and completely disappeared from this universe. Chapter 1882. Young Master. When the remaining thunder demons saw this scene, they all cried out in grief and indignation. They watched Lei Yundong being killed, but they had no power to resist. They were extremely resentful. Don't worry, you will go with him. Xia Ping's figure flickered, and he attacked the remaining thunder demons again and again. Wu Wudi, my thunder demon clan will not let you go. We have already spread the news that you killed the young master of my thunder demon clan. In the future you will be the enemy of my thunder demon clan. We will not rest until you die. We will not rest until you die. Just you wait, clan leader, and the elders will avenge us. You will not have a good ending. Let's fight to the death with him and self-destruct. Even if we die, we will drag him down with us. Many thunder demons were furious and faced death with equanimity. They tried to self-destruct and perish together with Xia Ping. However, their speed was too slow. Xia Ping attacked again and again. He performed the thousand-armed Buddha and slapped down fiercely. In an instant, millions of palm prints appeared and bombarded everything. Dong dong dong. Suddenly, there was a series of war drums in the void, and a mass of flesh and blood exploded. When the drums stopped, the screams also disappeared. Many thunder demons were blown up on the spot, and there was no corpse left. At this moment, there were no enemies within a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers that could threaten Xia Ping. They actually leaked the news? That's good too. It suits me. Xia Ping did not care about the threat of these thunder demons at all. Instead, leaking the news was exactly what he wanted. If he did not leak the news, how could he anger the thunder demon clan and attract their hatred? Voila. He grabbed with his big hand and immediately collected all the space rings of this group of thunder demons in the Palace of Darkness. There were a large number of elixirs, spiritual medicines, magic treasures, and all kinds of rare materials. It was a windfall. At the same time, The soul energy left behind by these enemies was completely devoured by him and refined into soul crystals. The corpses of this group of thunder demons were all precious materials for refining thunder magic treasures. He also collected them without wasting them. Swoosh! Xia Ping's figure flashed and immediately landed in the center of this dark continent. He came to the front of the treasure vault. At this time, no one could stop him from obtaining the treasures. He arrived in front of the treasury, and two beams of divine light shot out from his eyes. They pierced through the restrictive formations and saw the treasures inside the treasury clearly, no matter how big or small they were. At the very center of the treasury was a crimson cauldron. The cauldron radiated a violent flame power, and there were countless flame runes engraved on its surface. It possessed an extremely tyrannical power. Without a doubt, this was a sacred weapon. Immediately, Xia Ping's probing seemed to have awakened the saint artifact. A powerful ripple spread out, instantly affecting the entire continent and causing it to shake violently. Little friend, go back. I am the heaven-burning divine flame refining furnace, a medium-grade saint artifact that the saint of good fortune used to refine all rare treasures in the world. My magic power is limitless and not something that a mortal like you can control. Right at this time, the enormous cauldron released an ancient voice. It was vast, mighty, and at the same time, contained an unquestionable aura. It expressed that it would not be controlled by mortals. Only sages could control it, and it did not care about anyone else. Clearly, this saint artifact had an artifact spirit and its own independent will. Without its acknowledgement, ordinary cultivators could forget about controlling this saint artifact. Medium-grade saint artifact. Hearing this, Xia Ping's eyes brightened. This saint artifact was not simple. It had actually reached the level of a medium-grade saint artifact. It likely surpassed the vast majority of saint artifacts. Even a sage would drool if they saw it. He wanted to refine this saint artifact more and more. This was because it was far too useful. It was a giant refining furnace that could automatically refine all sorts of magic weapons and pills. Obtaining it was the same as obtaining a grand refiner. Although the Black Ox's refining strength was good, its main job was still Shinnon. It was responsible for managing farmland and medicine fields, and there was still a difference between it and a true grand refiner. But this heaven-burning divine flame refining furnace was different. Under the tutelage of the saint of good fortune, it must have refined countless magic weapons. Moreover, this was a complete medium-grade saint artifact. The might it could display was incomparable. But the only problem was that it wasn't willing to be refined by him. If it was forcefully refined, then the might of this medium-grade saint artifact would not be a joke. Even a peak thunder tribulation supreme elder would not be able to suppress it. Thinking of this, Xia Ping's heart stirred. System, is there any way to help me refine this medium-grade saint artifact? He remembered the almost omnipotent system. It had helped him refine some treasures before. Easy, it requires 50 hatred crystals. The system replied. Exchange, system, help me refine it immediately. Hearing this, Xia Ping said impatiently. He had a total of 370 hatred crystals on him, and spending 50 hatred crystals was nothing. It was just a small amount of money. But if he could obtain this medium-grade saint artifact, he would have made a huge profit. Rumble, in an instant, an unfathomable force surged out from Xia Ping's body. It pierced through the void, tore apart the array formation, and directly poured into the heaven-burning divine flame refining furnace. This force was unstoppable and unstoppable. Impossible, mortal, how can you have this kind of power? Damn it. Originally, this heaven-burning divine flame refining furnace was high and mighty, and it didn't put Xia Ping in its eyes. This was because it had seen countless sages, so what was a mere mortal to it? It thought that the other party, a human who hadn't even cultivated to the thunder tribulation realm, could not refine and control it. But now it was different. It actually felt an unparalleled energy surging over, drowning its soul in an instant, causing it to completely faint. It couldn't even resist for a moment. Refine. At this moment, Xia Ping also felt a trace of his primordial spirit extend with the system's energy, easily penetrating the supreme array formation inside the heaven-burning divine flame refining furnace. He couldn't help but secretly marvel. The array formation and divine runes inside this heaven-burning divine flame refining furnace were too amazing and unfathomable. Without the assistance of the system with his current strength, it would be impossible to break through the core and refine the artifact spirit. In fact, if the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers was not in a damaged state, but in a complete state, the Green Ox wouldn't have allowed Xia Ping to be refined so easily. Dong. Soon, Xiaoping's primordial spirit entered the innermost space of the heaven-burning divine flame refining furnace. It was an empty space and there was only a cluster of red flames that was 30 feet tall, burning hot. Obviously, this cluster of red flames was the artifact spirit of the heaven-burning divine flame refining furnace. At this moment, the other party was sleeping soundly. Because the power of the system was in a dormant state, it was defenseless, and all the defense mechanisms on its body were ineffective. Chapter 1883. Boom. As soon as Xiaoping's finger touched the red flame, his spirit trembled as if he had signed a contract. His spirit connected with the spirit of the Brahma divine fire crafting cauldron in an instant. Immediately, he felt that his spirit seemed to be integrated into the Brahma divine fire crafting cauldron. He had complete control over this divine artifact. The surrounding formations were no longer hostile to him and could be controlled by him at will. However, this was a mid-grade divine artifact with boundless power. Xiaoping found it very difficult to control it. It was like a child pushing a small car. It didn't move at all. One had to know that his magic power was comparable to that of a Thunder Retribution Realm cultivator, but it was still difficult to activate a complete mid-grade divine artifact. It was no wonder that the spirit of the Brahma divine fire crafting cauldron was unwilling to be refined by him. After an unknown period of time, the artifact spirit of the Brahma divine flame crafting cauldron finally woke up. The scarlet flame in the depths of the void wriggled and turned into a huge flaming man. It had eyes, ears, nose, hands, and legs. At this moment, it had also regained consciousness. Obviously, it knew what had happened. I didn't expect you to actually have the ability to successfully refine me. Although I don't know what method it is, since I have been refined, I will be your weapon from now on. The red flaming man's voice buzzed. It had acknowledged Xiaoping's identity as its master. It was a very realistic spirit. Since it had been refined, there was no way to get rid of the contract. Then, it could only admit it. There was no need to do anything unnecessary. Moreover, a mortal in the Transcendence realm had a way to refine a divine artifact. It could be said that he had a boundless future. Following such a master might not be a bad thing. It accepted this fact calmly. Master, you actually obtained another divine artifact. And it's a mid-grade divine artifact. The green bull also noticed and was immediately amazed. It had never expected that Xiaoping could actually refine an intact mid-grade divine artifact. It was simply beyond its imagination. It thought that Xiaoping would at least have such strength when he reached the sage realm. Moreover, this Brahma divine fire crafting cauldron was obviously extraordinary. With the help of this crafting cauldron, it could refine countless pills and spiritual medicines, as well as all kinds of magic treasures. Why don't you take a look at what sect he is from? Corinne proudly said. He felt that sooner or later Xiaoping's achievements would surpass his original master, and he might even create a more powerful school than Myriad Star's sect. Very good, what's your name? Xiaoping was very satisfied. I am a magical treasure born of the heavens and earth. I have no father or mother, nor do I have a name. However, if you must give me a nickname, my previous master once called me Brahma. The Crimson Flame Man called himself Brahma. Alright, then you'll be called Brahma from now on. Xiaoping nodded. He wasn't too conflicted about this thing. He only asked for its name so that it would be easier to call it in the future. That's right, since you were once the Good Fortune Saint's magic tool, then you must be very familiar with the Heaven's Fortune diagram. I wonder if there are a great number of precious treasures within this magic tool? Xiaoping wanted to ask Brahma, an insider. I've been asleep for far too long from the ancient era until now. Although I've woken up several times, I still don't know what happened within the Heaven's Fortune diagram. Brahma said in a deep voice. Moreover, the Heaven's Fortune diagram has opened countless times and countless mortals have come in to seek their own lucky chances. Many of those lucky chances have been obtained and dug clean. Even if I know some things about the Heaven's Fortune diagram before, with the vicissitudes of time and the vicissitudes of time, my information is of no help to the present. Xiaoping nodded. He also acknowledged this point. It seemed that he had been a bit too optimistic. After all, the Brahma divine flame refining furnace had been asleep for who knew how many years and hadn't come out. How could it know what was happening around it? Even if 100 years passed in the mortal world, earth-shaking changes would occur. Not to mention that countless tens of thousands of years had passed. Such changes were even more astonishing. But if you want to talk about the greatest hidden treasure in the Heaven's Fortune diagram, I might know. If that place hasn't been discovered yet, Perhaps Master can go there and obtain a great deal of benefits. Brahma's tone changed. Hidden treasure? What kind of treasures are there? Xiaoping blinked his eyes and asked curiously. That's an orchard. Fentian said, there are 9 ginseng fruit trees planted inside. It can be considered a relatively precious place in the heaven's fortune diagram. If Master were to obtain these ginseng fruits, it would definitely be of great benefit. Ginseng fruit tree? Good stuff, really good stuff. Master, you have to get all of them. Hearing this, the green cow's eyes turned red. This ginseng fruit tree is a miraculous tree of heaven and earth. It takes 10,000 years to bloom, 10,000 years to bear fruit, and 10,000 years to mature. It takes a total of 30,000 years to grow a ginseng fruit. Furthermore, every ginseng fruit has the power to seize the good fortune of heaven and earth. Consuming one can increase one's magic power by 30,000 years, which is enough to instantly raise an early-stage Thunder Tribulation realm to the peak of the Thunder Tribulation realm. Ginseng fruits can even increase one's lifespan by 30,000 years. They are countless times more precious than longevity fruits, and even saints covet them. What? Xiaoping's eyes immediately lit up. Right now, his foundation was simply too strong. Not only did he possess the Hell Golden Crow bloodline, he had also condensed 9 great violet palaces and 9 great primordial spirits. The amount of energy he needed to condense was more than 10,000 times that of an ordinary person. It could be said that the difficulty of each breakthrough was 10,000 times greater than that of an ordinary Dharma Supreme expert. If there were no treasures of heaven and earth, he might not be able to break through much even if he died of old age. Without a doubt, if this ginseng fruit tree still existed, he would definitely obtain it. He could even transplant it into the space of the mountain river Pearl and continuously provide him with ginseng fruits. Where's the orchard? Xiaoping immediately asked. Since he had nowhere else to go, he might as well go to the place that Brahma mentioned to look for it. He was extremely eager to obtain the ginseng fruit. It's at the northeast corner of the heaven's fortune diagram. It's at least 2 weeks away from here. I can lead the way. Fentian said in a deep voice. All right, then lead the way. Xiaoping did not hesitate. He immediately broke through the restriction formation of the treasure vault and plundered all the treasures. However, the magic treasures in this treasure vault were also ordinary, and could not be compared to the Brahma Divine Fire Weapon Refining Cauldron. However, even though the sparrow was small, it still had some meat, so he did not dislike it at all. After doing all this, he immediately rushed in the direction that the artifact spirit of the Brahma Divine Fire Weapon Refining Cauldron had mentioned. At this time, the matter of Xiaoping killing many disciples of the Palace of Darkness, as well as a large number of thunder demons, was quickly exposed. In an instant, it spread throughout the entire heaven's fortune diagram, and was known by countless experts of various races. Chapter 1884. What? That Wu Wuti appeared again? He's so bold now that he killed the disciples of the Palace of Darkness? Even the young master of the Thunder Goblin clan, Lei Yundong, was killed by him. Many people were immediately stunned when they heard the news. Because they had not heard news of Wu Wuti for a long time, they thought that the kid had offended so many forces and was so scared that he went into hiding, not daring to make a fuss anymore. Who would have thought that the kid would appear again in the heaven's creation map? And as soon as he appeared, he did such an earth-shattering crime, killing the disciples of the Palace of Darkness and the young master of the Thunder Goblin. Fuck, this kid's courage is boundless. Is he still human? He even dared to kill the disciples of the Palace of Darkness. Doesn't he know that it's one of the 2 holy lands of the human race? He's stirring up a hornet's nest. Some people thought that Wu Wuti was crazy. What a joke. That kid dares to kill everything. He's simply too arrogant. I've never seen him not do anything. The Palace of Darkness is nothing. That's right. As the saying goes, too many debts won't weigh on you. If you count carefully, this kid has offended countless forces. The number of people who can kill him is simply too many to count. Now it's just the Palace of Darkness and the Thunder Goblin clan. That's right. This guy is relying on his identity to commit crimes everywhere. He's simply too arrogant. Can't anyone deal with him? This time that kid is definitely dead. Killing the disciples of the Palace of Darkness is a big deal. Do you know how many experts there are in the Palace of Darkness? If this group of people makes a move, it's useless to hide in any corner of the universe. Keep bragging. The universe is so big. That kid can hide anywhere and the people of the Palace of Darkness won't be able to find him. Didn't the Wandu clan, the Shintian sect, the Great Sky sect and other forces say the same? Now they can't even find a hair on his head. Everyone was discussing this because the deaths of the disciples of the Palace of Darkness and the young master of the Thunder Goblin clan were too shocking. They all felt that Wu Wuti was simply too heaven-defying. It would have been fine if he hadn't appeared, but once he did such an earth-shattering crime. Furthermore, there's another problem that I'm afraid none of you have noticed. Every time Wu Wuti appears, his level of cultivation increases exponentially. Previously he could only deal with returning nature adepts. Now he can kill Dharma adepts. This rate of improvement is frightening. If he disappears this time, won't he be able to easily kill a Thunder Tribulation eminence the next time he appears? Someone thought of this serious problem. Many people were reminded and immediately shivered. They had always been shocked by Wu Wuti's daring actions, but they had forgotten about his terrifying talent and rapid progress. This rate of improvement was not calculated in years but in days. If he continued to grow, no one would be able to do anything to him. Who exactly is that Wu Wuti? Why do all of you know him? Some of them did not recognize Wu Wuti. They were all from the Central Universe and had rushed over from the Central Universe to enter the creation map of the heavens. However, they were not familiar with the affairs of other regions of the universe. To these people, other than the Central Universe, the rest of the universe was like a backwater. They did not know how to spend time paying attention to and understanding them. It was just like Xia Ping's previous life on Earth. He lived in Wuxia, but he did not know the specific situation of small countries like Tunisia, Namibia, Comoros, Niger, Kenya, Uganda, and so on. No one knew what happened in these small countries every day. You don't know how savage Wu Wuti is. His name has long been known throughout the universe. When someone heard this, he immediately explained how savage Wu Wuti was. Although he had only been famous for a few years, every time he appeared, he would commit a major crime and offend countless forces. Now, the North Universe's Mystic Heaven sect, Heavenly Reflection sect, Great Sky sect, and other Saint-class sects, the South Universe's 10,000 Poison sect, the West Universe's Luohan tribe, the Angel tribe, and the Wolf tribe, as well as the various forces of the East Universe had listed Wu Wuti as a wanted criminal. He was wanted throughout the universe, and the bounty had reached tens of billions of universe dollars. It seemed like it was still increasing. So that Wu Wuti is so savage. This is indeed the wilderness. Poor and remote places give birth to unruly people. Let's be careful. That wanted criminal is extremely savage. He even killed the disciples of the Darkness Temple. If we're careless, we'll be killed too. Boo-hoo, didn't they say that the humans in these regions are very weak? They're far inferior to our central universe. How did such a terrifying wanted criminal appear? The wilderness is too dangerous. Every place has its own people. The wilderness here is lacking in resources and everyone is fighting over them. It's normal for one or two ruthless people to appear. Everyone, don't be careless. That Taoist extreme evil from the Darkness Temple was torn apart by Wu Wuti because he was careless. Not even his bones were left. His death was so tragic that I can't even describe it with words. Now, the people from the Darkness Temple are going crazy with anger. They've sworn to take revenge. Many people from the Central Universe warned each other to be wary of strangers. They should not casually speak to strangers, lest they encounter the terrifying wanted criminal, Wu Wuti, and die a violent death. In the past, they would have underestimated these people from the countryside. However, everything had to be compared. Now that the terrifying human race geniuses from the Palace of Darkness had been killed by the wanted criminal, one could imagine how ferocious Wu Wuti was. He was definitely not someone they could provoke. Wu Wuti's infamy began to spread among the various forces of the Central Universe, causing them to tremble in fear. At that moment, the Profound Heaven sect, the Great Sky sect, the Ancient Moon sect, the Heavenly Reflection sect, the Myriad Poison sect, and the other forces also received the news. They immediately became excited and their emotions surged. That Wu Wuti really did appear. I guessed right. Based on that kid's personality, how could he not participate in the birth of the fortune map of heavens? I didn't expect him to be so savage. He even dared to kill the people from the Darkness Temple. Is he tired of living? He's not dead even if you die. How can a scourge like him die so easily? He's arrogant. He's certain that even the Darkness Temple can't find his true identity and address, so he's naturally fearless. This time we must set up an inescapable trap and completely destroy this kid. Otherwise, who knows where he'll run off to after leaving the fortune map of heavens. That's right. This Wu Wuti is like a loach, slippery and slippery. We must not alert him. This time we must ensure that nothing goes wrong. If we can't destroy him, we must not make a move. That's right. Everyone discussed. They hated Wu Wuti to the extreme. This guy was alive and kicking, causing trouble everywhere he went. Not only was he fine, but he was also becoming more and more powerful and invincible. Chapter 1885. On the other hand, many disciples of the Palace of Darkness had gathered together. There were thousands of them, and each of them exuded an aura as deep as the abyss. They were extremely powerful. Each of them was a proud son of heaven of the human clan. Some were descendants of saints, while others were from ancient clans. They had special bloodlines, and their combat power was no less than that of ancient beasts. Damn it, I didn't expect Junior Brother Extreme Evil to be killed. Wu Wuti was too bold. Didn't he know that Junior Brother Extreme Evil was a disciple of the Palace of Darkness? How dare he kill him? Kill him. We must kill Wu Wuti. No matter where he came from, he killed a disciple of the Palace of Darkness. He must pay with his blood. We must make him taste the price of blood. Now the people of the Holy Land of Taichu are laughing at us. They say that the disciples of the Palace of Darkness are all trash. We can't even defeat a human disciple from the barbarian land. We've lost face for the Holy Land of the human clan. This kind of humiliation can only be washed away with blood. The disciples of the Palace of Darkness had ugly expressions on their faces. They were not sad about the death of Venomous Taoist and the others. They just felt that it was a disgrace to the Palace of Darkness. Originally, they were from the Holy Land of the human clan and had the most resources. They should have been invincible and untouchable. But now, they had been defeated by a young man who had appeared out of nowhere. If they did not get back at him, the Palace of Darkness would lose all face. They would not be able to raise their heads in front of the Holy Land of Taichu, and they would not even dare to speak loudly. Find Wu Wuti and tear him to pieces, said a senior brother of the Palace of Darkness. A senior brother from Darkness Palace spoke. His killing intent surged, and it seemed to have condensed into a material form. It pierced through the surrounding space, causing it to be filled with holes like a beehive. Yes. The disciples of the Palace of Darkness shouted. They were unprecedentedly united. At this time, the masters of the Thunder Goblin clan had also gathered. Their leader, Lei Bao, was among them. Lei Yundong was his biological son, but he was dead. There were many other elites of the Thunder Goblin clan. My third son, Lei Yundong, had only lived for a few thousand years, but he had already reached the peak of the Dharma plane. He was extremely talented, and he was a strong successor to the leader of the Thunder Goblin clan. He might have even become the demon saint of the Thunder Goblin clan. I had high hopes for him and loved him. But now he's dead. He was killed by a human bastard called Wu Wuti. My years of hard work have been ruined, and the Thunder Demon clan has lost a genius. What do you think we should do about this? Lei Bao's eyes revealed a terrifying light. Kill Wu Wuti. A group of thunder demons roared angrily. Their bodies were filled with terrifying flames of anger, and the surrounding thunderbolts shook. It was as if the surrounding hundreds of millions of kilometers had turned into a sea of thunder. No one dared to approach. Otherwise, he would definitely be drowned in the sea of lightning, and not even his bones would remain. Then what are you waiting for? Capture Wu Wuti immediately. I want to skin him alive and break his bones one by one. Only then will I be able to vent the hatred in my heart. If I don't kill him, Lei Bao, will not be a demon. Lei Bao clenched his fists and a terrifying aura erupted from his body, sweeping through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The surrounding thunder demons could not withstand this terrifying aura and were all sent flying. Bolts of purple lightning descended, seemingly tearing apart the void and causing a huge thunderstorm. Yes. The numerous thunder demons immediately moved, scattering everywhere to search for Wu Wuti's whereabouts. My son, don't worry. Soon I will send that human bastard to hell to accompany you. It won't take too long. Lei Bao clenched his fists. No one could imagine how angry he was right now. If he could erupt, this entire region would be completely destroyed and nothing would exist. 2 weeks later, Xia Ping steered the myriad star through the inner space of the myriad heavens fortune chart. Due to the restrictions of the rules, it was impossible to jump through space within this spatial magic treasure. It could only travel through the starry sky for long distances. Even so, the myriad star was extremely fast. Its speed far exceeded that of a Thunder Tribulation Supreme Being. Moreover, it flew 24 hours a day, saving a great deal of magic power and strength. He had not been resting during these days. Instead, he had been cultivating. After refining the Brahma Divine Fire Crafting Cauldron, Xia Ping had been studying this medium-grade saint artifact. He immediately discovered that the most important part of this saint artifact was the Brahma divine fire within the crafting cauldron. In the past, the good fortune saint had obtained a wisp of the Brahma divine fire. With the help of many cosmic-level materials, he had finally refined this crafting cauldron after countless years. The so-called Brahma was also known as Brahma, Brahma, and Brahma. Its main meaning was purity and detachment from all desires. Thus, the Brahma divine fire was also known as the purification divine fire. This was a tyrannical deviant fire that came from the depths of the chaos. It had the ability to purify all impurities and wash away all sins. It was extremely powerful and was very suitable for refining pills and weapons. No matter what material entered the giant cauldron, it would be rapidly purified by the Brahma divine fire. All impurities would be expelled, leaving behind only the true essence. Even materials that had been corroded by the abyssal demonic energy would be purified by the Brahma divine fire. Thus, after obtaining this deviant fire, Xia Ping quickly devoured it and made it his own. He poured it into his body and quickly unsealed the golden crow hell cells in his body. Today he had awakened a total of 60 million golden crow hell cells in his body. The magic power in the depths of his sea of consciousness also rose steadily, reaching the peak of the early Dharma stage. He was just one step away from breaking through to the mid-Dharma stage. As expected of a mid-grade divine weapon, it's indeed powerful. Xia Ping was more and more satisfied with the Brahma divine fire crafting cauldron. If this divine weapon was fully activated, it could also explode with a tyrannical power that could instantly purify and incinerate the enemy. Of course, what he was most satisfied with was the Brahma divine fire crafting cauldron's ability to refine pills and weapons. He threw in the crystal fragrant rice and other spirit grains. Along with some other spirit herbs, he immediately refined crystal elixirs that were more than 3 times more powerful than before. At the same time, he also threw in some materials. The Brahma divine fire crafting cauldron could also freely refine Dharma treasures. It could even help him refine his natal Dharma treasure, the Bell of Chaos. After being refined by the Brahma divine fire crafting cauldron these days, the Bell of Chaos had also reached a higher level. It had already been promoted to a supreme spirit weapon and contained great spirituality. If there was an opportunity and it continued to accumulate primordial chi, it might be promoted to a divine weapon. It had to be said that the power of the Brahma divine fire crafting cauldron was beyond imagination. Of course, other than these auxiliary abilities as a mid-grade divine weapon, its offensive and defensive abilities were also satisfactory. It was definitely not inferior to other divine weapons. Chapter 1886. Is this the place? At that moment, Xia Ping woke up from his cultivation. The stars had already arrived at the place that Brahma had mentioned. He looked outside through the virtual projection of the spaceship. However, he was stunned because he was surrounded by a dark vacuum. There was nothing there, not even a piece of land. There was no so-called ginseng fruit tree at all. Master, that's right, this is the place. The artifact spirit Brahma's voice rang out. His tone was very confident. But there's nothing here. Could it be that this place has changed after so many years? Xia Ping asked. After all, Brahma had been asleep for so many years, so anything could happen. I'm not very sure either. Brahma hesitated for a while and said, but as far as I know, this orchard seems to be surrounded by a powerful restriction formation. It's hidden deep in the void and its aura doesn't leak at all. Ordinary people shouldn't be able to find it. Of course, after so many years, it's not impossible for a cultivator to accidentally find this place. After all, the universe is too big and anything can happen. Hidden in the void? There's a restriction formation? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. With a thought, he immediately activated the Hell Golden Crow's eyes, and an ancient, mysterious and profound energy shot out from the depths of his pupils, piercing through the void. Immediately, the entire world underwent an earth-shattering change, and there seemed to be ripples in the void. In his eyes, a small piece of land that covered an area of 38 million square kilometers suddenly appeared in the dark starry sky that was originally empty. This piece of earthy yellow land was surrounded by a series of mysterious restrictive formations that fused with the void. It was as if it was independent of the outside world and had fused with the dimensional world. There's indeed a land. Brahma was right. Xia Ping's heart skipped a beat. He could sense that the restriction formation was extremely mysterious and had reached an extremely high level of attainment. It merged with the void and was invisible, hiding in the depths of the dimensional space. If not for his Hell Golden Crow's eyes that could see through all techniques, he probably wouldn't have discovered the existence of the khaki-colored land and wouldn't know anything. This restrictive array formation was simply too powerful. It was not an illusion array formation, but a pure spatial array formation. Even if his flying ship arrived in the starry sky, he would not be able to discover anything. It would be like passing through an illusion and he would not be able to touch it. It was no wonder that no one had discovered the existence of this continent after so many years. If Brahma hadn't told him that there might be an orchard here, he would have thought that this place was a void with nothing at all. The soil of this continent doesn't seem simple either. Xia Ping's gaze penetrated through the restrictive formation and saw the situation inside the continent. He found that the soil of this small continent was also unusual. It contained a very strong spirituality and was not ordinary soil. He immediately told Corinne and Green Ox what he knew. Master, this is dark yellow soil, the famous dark yellow soil. It is one of the spiritual soils in the world, comparable to the nine heaven living soil. It contains a majestic life force and is extremely suitable for nurturing spiritual herbs and spiritual roots. The Green Ox was extremely excited. Moreover, mysterious yellow soil seems to be even more precious than the nine heaven living soil. It only appears in some universe mystic realms. Back then, Old Master wanted to obtain some mysterious yellow soil and expended a lot of effort. I didn't expect this place to have a land of 38 million square kilometers. This is great. Master, you must dig out the entire land. Dig it all away. It clenched its fists impatiently. Mysterious yellow soil? That's a good treasure. But there's no hurry. This continent is dangerous. There are many powerful abyssal demons. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes and followed his gaze to penetrate the restrictive formation. He suddenly discovered that a large number of abyssal demons were also sealed in a corner of this continent. Moreover, these abyssal demons were completely different from the small characters he had encountered before. All of them were great demons at the peak of the Thunder Tribulation realm. Their demonic power was world-shaking. Even the races of these abyssal demons were famous. There were heart-devouring demons that devoured hearts, blood demons that had almost immortal bodies, invisible and formless heavenly demons, lava demons that burned with abyssal flames, poison demons that condensed from venom and could kill billions of living beings with a single drop of venom, and so on. Every demon released could cause a great calamity. Although there weren't many abyssal demons, only 18,000 of them, there was no doubt that every abyssal demon released was an overlord-level existence, an almighty powerhouse like a sect master. If he opened the restrictive formation here, these abyssal demons would definitely swarm out. Of course, if it was just these abyssal demons, Xia Ping also had a way to deal with them. The problem was that this was the myriad heavens creation map. There were too many almighties that entered this place to seek treasures. If intense fluctuations shook the surroundings during the battle, it would definitely attract the attention of countless almighties. At that time, the enemies wouldn't just be these abyssal demons. There would be even more almighties from various races coming. In that case, it would be hard to say if he could obtain this piece of land made of mysterious yellow soil and the 9 ginseng fruit trees in an intense battle. He didn't want to work so hard only to have the fruits of his labor stolen by others. At this moment, the Green Ox also understood Xia Ping's thoughts and couldn't help but nod. Master, your thoughts are indeed thorough. If you break this restrictive formation, these abyssal demons will definitely escape and cause great destruction. At the same time, it will also attract the attention of other almighties. Most importantly, Master has previously angered many people, and many enemies hate Master to the bone. Now, there are also powerful factions like the Palace of Darkness and the Thunder Demon race. They have already placed a bounty on Master's head on the internet and are fishing everywhere. They are everywhere. Indeed, you need to be more careful. Wanted me? There's such a thing? Xia Ping had been cultivating hard these days, so he wasn't aware of what was happening on the internet. Yes, you killed the young master of the Thunder Demon race. The patriarch of the Thunder Demon race, Lei Bao, is already stamping with rage and swearing to find trouble with you. He even offered a generous bounty on your head. Corinne looked speechlessly at this guy and said, even the Palace of Darkness, the holy land of the human race, has made a move. They used their power as a holy land to mobilize a large number of saint-level sects disciples to provide them with clues. It can be said that they have set up an inescapable net in the entire myriad heavens creation map, waiting to take your life. The corners of his mouth twitched. He had nothing to say about Xia Ping's lawless behavior. Chapter 1887. So many people want my life. This is good news. Hearing this, Xiaoping's eyes lit up. His mind immediately became active and he was very excited. Good news? Green Ox's and Corinne's mouths twitched and they were speechless. They had never seen such a person before. Hearing that so many people wanted his life, and that many top factions had joined forces to search every inch of the way, it was shocking. Faced with such a situation, ordinary people would have long been scared out of their wits. But now this kid was actually in high spirits. This? The artifact spirit, Brahma, was also dumbfounded. He did not understand his new master at all. He seemed to be a little beyond imagination and unfathomable. If I can think of a way to lure this group of people over to help me deal with the group of abyssal demons, then I will be the one to reap the benefits. Xiaoping rubbed his chin and immediately thought of a good idea. Thinking of this, he immediately logged into the universe virtual network and used Wu Wudi's identity to directly send a message to everyone. I heard that many people want to kill me but they can't find my whereabouts. This is very boring. Then I, Wu Wudi, can give everyone a chance. I'm at XX place. If you have the ability, come and kill me. Once this message came out, it immediately shook the creation map of heavens. Countless humans and creatures of countless races knew about it, and the news spread at the speed of light. After all, Wu Wudi's name had long been known in this place. Who knew how many people wanted to find Wu Wudi's whereabouts and kill him for the bounty? Unfortunately, after 2 weeks, no one could find Wu Wudi's whereabouts. They could not help but feel a little discouraged. They felt that the kid's ability to hide his whereabouts was too strong. There was no hope of finding him and they wanted to give up. But just as they were about to give up, the person in question actually dared to appear in front of everyone and say where his true body was. It was too exaggerated. That universe's most wanted criminal Wu Wudi has appeared. He directly posted on the virtual network and said where his true body is. Is that for real? That kid is completely crazy. Is he tired of living? He doesn't know how many people want to kill him now. Once they know where his true body is, he'll definitely die. This news must be fake. Who would be so stupid? Even if they were tired of living, they wouldn't send someone to kill them. I think this might be fake news. Someone is pretending to be Wu Wudi. Someone dares to impersonate Wu Wudi? He's the one who's truly tired of living. This is an act that will incur the wrath of the masses. Once it's discovered, he'll probably be beaten to death as well. At once, the universe virtual network was filled with discussions. They were all completely shocked by this news. However, they were still doubtful, not knowing if this news was real or fake. After all, there was a lot of fake news in the virtual network. It was also possible that someone was impersonating Wu Wudi and spreading rumors. In fact, there were quite a few people who had been tricked by the rumors. Sometimes there were rumors on the internet that Wu Wudi might appear somewhere, but when they rushed over, they found nothing. They had been completely fooled. Xiaoping was also aware of this situation, so he immediately took out all sorts of treasures. These treasures were obtained from Taoist Extreme Evil and the other disciples of the Palace of Darkness, as well as Lei Yundong and the other thunder demons. They were also their unique life treasures. He continued, everyone might not believe my true identity, but that's fine. These are the treasures I obtained from those I defeated. This should be enough to prove my identity. Don't doubt my motive for revealing my location. I'm just bored and too lonely. I'm sure everyone doesn't understand the loneliness of being invincible. No matter how strong an enemy is, I can kill them with one punch. That emptiness of being invincible makes me very uncomfortable. My entire body has become an empty shell, leaving behind only my handsome skin. I only have one request for all of you who are hunting me. Come and kill me or be killed by me. As soon as this was said, it was like a stone that caused 1,000 ripples, causing countless people to be in an uproar. That's right. These treasures are Junior Brother Extreme Evil's life treasures. I'm a disciple of the Palace of Darkness and I've seen them before. Oh my god, that's the life treasure of Lei Yundong, the young master of the Thunder Demon clan, the Purple Thunder Spear. There's no mistaking it. That means this kid is the real Wu Wudi. Otherwise, there's no way he could have these treasures. Taking 10,000 steps back, even if it's not Wu Wudi, it must be someone closely related to Wu Wudi. How else could he have obtained these treasures? After watching the video, everyone immediately believed Xiaoping's words. After all, if it wasn't Wu Wudi himself, the treasures on Taoist Extreme Evil and the others would not have fallen into his hands. Arrogant. This kid is too arrogant. Is he planning to challenge all the experts in the world and fight 1 against 10,000? Who does he think he is? He named himself Wu Wudi. He really thinks he's invincible. Some people were completely infuriated by Xiaoping's words. They felt that this kid was too arrogant. He was planning to challenge all the experts in the universe and think he was invincible. He said he only has one goal, and that is to be beaten to death by everyone. What an arrogant person. He really thinks he's an invincible expert. Does he think we're all vegetarians? Some people were fuming with anger. He had never seen such an arrogant person. To be honest, he had seen many arrogant people. Basically, all geniuses had this problem. They looked down on others and had their eyes on the top of their heads. However, this was the first time he had seen someone so arrogant that he wanted all the experts in the universe to beat him to death. How arrogant! At that moment, the people from the Palace of Darkness also heard the news. They immediately flew into a rage. Even the geniuses of our Palace of Darkness, the two holy lands of the human race, would not dare to say such things. How dare this kid do this? How much does he look down on our Palace of Darkness? Beat him to death. Since he wants to die, let's fulfill his wish. Move immediately. Beat this Wu Wuti until he's crippled. Let him know the power of the Palace of Darkness. Stupid to the extreme. He doesn't know how high the sky is. Let this kid see the power of the Palace of Darkness. It's definitely not something he can imagine. Many of the Palace of Darkness disciples were so furious that they were fuming with rage. According to their thinking, since this kid was wanted by the Palace of Darkness and had become the target of everyone, he should be hiding like a rat on the street and not dare to show himself. But now this guy was too arrogant. Not only did he not hide, but he also jumped out and said that he wanted them to beat him to death. No one could stand such an arrogant attitude. Chapter 1888. At this time, the Thunder Goblin clan also received the news. Wu Wuti has appeared and posted on the virtual network. Bastard, he's wanted by our Thunder Goblin clan, yet he dares to show himself. Is he tired of living? He's tired of living. Not only did he show himself, but he also took the initiative to reveal his location and ask us to kill him. Crazy, this human is completely crazy. Does he want to die so badly? All the Thunder Goblins were dumbfounded. Although they could not wait to find Wu Wuti's location immediately, they did not expect such a thing to happen. There was actually someone who took the initiative to show himself and reveal his identity. He was courting death. They had chased and killed many enemies, but they had never seen such a type. For a moment they did not know how to react. After all, they had never experienced such a thing before. Kill him, kill this bastard immediately. He actually dared to jump out and ask to be killed. I've never seen such a request in my life. If I don't kill him this time, I'll commit suicide. However, Patriarch Lei Bao was different. After hearing the news, he immediately flew into a rage, especially when he saw that Wu Wuti was holding his son Lei Yundong's magic treasure. He was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. His eyes were red, and his body exuded a terrible murderous aura, causing cracks in the void. No one could imagine the rage in its heart at that moment. It wanted nothing more than to rush in front of Wu Wuti and tear this damned human into pieces. It wanted to exterminate his entire clan and even dig out his ancestors and grind their bones into ashes. Patriarch, there may be a trap. That human is despicable and shameless. There may be a trap. With the Thunder Goblin Elder's advice, he still felt uneasy and suspected that there was a trap. Trap my ass. Even if it's a trap, I'll go and kill him. I don't believe that little bastard has any trap that can do anything to me. Lei Bao sneered. In the face of absolute strength, any trap would be a joke. Moreover, this was a rare opportunity. The other party had taken the initiative to show himself. If he missed this opportunity and the kid slipped away, he did not know when he would be able to find him again. Therefore, he would definitely not miss this opportunity. Let's go. Lei Bao shouted. Yes, Patriarch. The numerous lightning demonic beasts didn't hesitate and immediately set off with their Patriarch. They were bold and confident, and they felt that they were part of the lightning demonic clan, a clan that controlled lightning and was peerlessly formidable. Even if there was a trap, they wouldn't be afraid. There was still a power that could kill them, but that human brat clearly wasn't qualified. He didn't have that power. In addition to the Palace of Darkness and the Thunder Goblin tribe, the Wolf tribe, the Luohan tribe, the Angel tribe, the Thousand Poison sect, the Black Heaven sect, the Ancient Moon sect, and the Heaven Reflection sect also received the news. Is Wu Wuti out of his mind? You actually took the initiative to reveal your location? What's wrong with you? Even that guy isn't wrong. I've never seen such a treacherous person. The number of people who have been deceived by him is innumerable. Even dozens of planets wouldn't be able to fit him. That's right. That guy was a famous swindler when he first started his career. He even cheated children of their money. He has no conscience at all. This time he suddenly jumped out. There must be a trap. Yes, this time it must be a trap. That bastard set up a trap for us to go over. We can't go. Bullshit, we have to go. If we don't go this time, how are we going to find his whereabouts? That guy's concealment skills are unparalleled. Until now, no one knows his true appearance. To be honest, this is an overt plot. That kid is certain that we will definitely come, so he deliberately said this. Even if there really is a trap in that place, we have to go. Indeed. When I think about how that kid is certain to get us back, I'm very unhappy. I'm filled with anger. Don't worry. This time it's not just us who will go to kill Wu Wuti. A bunch of other forces will go, and the number of people will be frightening. Even if that kid has set up a huge trap, it's impossible for him to kill so many people. This time, I want that bastard to get the chicken dinner without losing anything. Everyone gritted their teeth. They also suspected that the bastard Wu Wuti must have set up a trap for them to go over. His purpose was to trick them, which was why he was so brazen. However, even if they suspected, there was nothing they could do. They still had to go. After all, the hatred between them was too great. Even if there was a small chance, they would not give up. Perhaps that was the reason why that kid was fearless. Whoosh, whoosh. Thinking of this, they immediately made a decision to go to the place that Wu Wuti had pointed out. However, these people were not completely defenseless. They all called their friends and formed groups. They calculated all kinds of Dharma treasures and prepared all kinds of life-saving items. Once they arrived at the place, if anything went wrong, they would immediately escape. They would definitely not give that kid a chance to harm them. They were already fully prepared, and there was no room for error. On the other hand, Xiaoping also saw the turbulence in the virtual network. He knew that his provocation plan had completely succeeded. When the time came, there would probably be countless enemies coming to this place. I have to be prepared. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. Although he planned to lure this group of people into a trap, they were all sly and cunning people. They would not be so easily fooled. Therefore, he decided to immediately set up many restrictive array formations in the surroundings. After setting up array formations, he would slowly lure this group of people into the real trap. Yes, first I'll use the Flaming River 9-tune array. It contains 9 types of exceptional fires of heaven and earth. Xiaoping touched his chin. Next, I'll use the 5 elemental thunder tribulation array. I'll gather the 5 elemental thunder of heaven and earth and launch a series of attacks. Next, I'll use the heavenly cycle stellar array. I'll gather the power of 360 stars to defeat the strong enemies. Finally, I'll use the Peach Blossom Miasma Illusion Array to trap this group of people in an endless illusion. They will not be able to distinguish between reality and illusion. This way they will be at a loss. That's right, I have to fuse with the restrictive array formations of this bound of heaven and earth. I have to blend into the void and hide my aura. This way, those people will not be able to see where the restrictive array formations are. I can catch them off guard and catch them off guard. He planned to set up a large array formation. This was also a very good opportunity to practice array formations. This kind of action also gave him a deeper understanding of array formation knowledge, and it allowed him to achieve mastery through comprehensive study. Moreover, he had obtained countless array formation materials from the demon realm. Using up a portion this time was not a big deal. It was just a drop in the ocean. It was too small. He could squander it without limit. Chapter 1889. A day later. Groups of forces quickly arrived in the starry sky near the black-yellow continent. They were very close to this place, so they quickly arrived without any trouble. As soon as they arrived, they immediately discovered a figure sitting cross-legged in the dark void. He stood in the void like a god, his eyes closed and motionless. This person was the legendary Wu Wuti. What an arrogant brat. I thought he was pretending to be ignorant and that it was fake news. I didn't expect it to be true. He even dared to appear in this place alone. What an arrogant brat. The group of people could not hide the shock in their hearts. They had only come here to watch the show. If there was a chance, they would take the opportunity to obtain the bounty. They did not expect the news on the internet to be true. Wu Wuti had really appeared here alone. This is a good chance. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As long as we kill this kid, we can immediately become rich overnight. Kill him. Someone's eyes were bloodshot. He could not suppress the killing intent in his heart and wanted to kill and snatch the treasure. Stop. Are you an idiot? Before that person could make a move, he was held down by a few of his companions. They scolded, "If this kid was so easy to kill, he would have been killed many times over." This person deliberately spread the news on the internet and revealed his true location. There must be a huge conspiracy. There might be a trap around him, and getting close to him will only lead to death. It doesn't matter if you want to die, but don't drag us down with you. These companions warned this greedy person. That person's hair stood on end. All the greed in his mind disappeared and was replaced by a clear state. He immediately became afraid of Wu Wuti. It was indeed as his companions had said. This Wu Wuti was famous, vicious, cunning, and vicious. He was a universe-level wanted criminal who killed people without batting an eyelid. How could he appear here to die so easily? There must be a trap. If he foolishly rushed over, he might be killed by Wu Wuti with a single punch. He would fall right into his opponent's trap. He looked at the people around him. Everyone had a regretful look on their faces, as if they were regretting not looking for trouble with Wu Wuti. They could have used this opportunity to test Wu Wuti's strength. Damn it, they're all a bunch of swindlers. They don't want to die, but they want me to go. Thank you for reminding me, brothers. Otherwise, I would have really fallen into the trap. That person immediately shed tears of gratitude towards his companions. Fortunately, he didn't stupidly stick his head out. Although the treasures were good, he still needed to be alive to take them. It's good that you know. In short, we'll just watch from the side and not get involved in this mess. It won't be too late for us to hit that brat when he's down. Several of his companions expressed their opinions. Of course, that person nodded his head vigorously, expressing his agreement. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. After the arrival of the first group, other groups and smaller groups arrived one after another. Soon the dark true void was filled with people. They were at least at the aspect realm and had condensed a heaven and earth aspect. There were also some lightning tribulation mighty figures. However, when these people arrived and saw Xia Ping's expressionless face as he sat there cross-legged in the air like a god, they immediately felt fear. They were even wary of each other. After all, although their main target this time was Wu Wuti, the problem was that these forces were not familiar with each other, and some even had grudges. Who knew whether or not someone next to them would suddenly plot against them? Therefore, the groups maintained a certain distance from each other, and no one dared to make the first move. In the blink of an eye, the groups had reached a stalemate, and none of them dared to make a move against Xia Ping. They exchanged glances as if they were waiting for someone else to make the first move. What's wrong? Xia Ping suddenly opened his eyes and looked around calmly. None of you dare to make a move? I'm standing right here alone and weak. You're welcome to come and beat me to death. After a moment passed, they still didn't make a move. In fact, they were even more afraid of Xia Ping, worried that there might be some sort of trap in the area. None of them dared to make a move. A bunch of gutless bandits. If you don't have the guts to make a move, then screw off. Don't be an eyesore. Xia Ping clasped his hands behind his back. What the hell? This brat is too arrogant. He even said he's welcome to come and beat him to death. I can't stand him for another second. I'm going to kill him right now. Seeing Xia Ping's look of disdain, someone could not take it anymore and flew into a rage. But before he could make a move, he was immediately suppressed by his companions. Brother, calm down. You must calm down. There must be a trap around this brat. This bastard is trying to goad us into action. Don't fall for it. Yes, this person is a peerless devil, even more ferocious than the demons of the abyss. Don't fight him for now. When the main group arrives, we'll teach him a lesson. Let his soul fall into the Avicii hell and suffer for eternity. Don't be angered by him. At this moment, a bald monk walked out. He wore a yellow cassock and put his palms together, exuding the aura of an enlightened monk. His magical power had reached the early stage of the Thunder Retribution realm. And behind him were 7 or 8 Buddhist monks, all of them at the peak of the Dharma plane. Master, you're right. I was almost angered by this devil. Fortunately, Master, you enlightened me and saved my life. May I know your Dharma name? That person immediately put his palms together to express his gratitude and suppressed his anger. I'm Jianghu, the monk in the yellow cassock said. So it's Master Jianghu. Everyone was in awe. Those with the surname Jie were all elder-level masters in Buddhism. Their magical power was profound and unfathomable, and they were famous in the universe. Damn bald donkey, don't pretend. At this moment, Xia Ping spat out a mouthful of saliva that contained powerful magical power. It pierced through the void like a laser, instantly flying towards Master Jianghu's smooth head. With a smack, that mouthful of saliva, No phlegm landed accurately on his head. At that moment, everyone was stunned. They were completely stunned. They had not expected something like this to happen. They were caught off guard and no one was able to catch this action. Wu Wuti had actually spat through the air and landed on Master Jianu's body. Master, are you alright? The man in blue widened his eyes and looked at Master Jianu. I'm fine. It's just a mouthful of phlegm. That devil thinks that he can anger me with such petty tricks. He's underestimating me. I've been cultivating in Buddhism since I was young. I've read tens of thousands of scriptures, experienced the various aspects of life, and purified thousands of devils. I've lived for 35,736 years. There's nothing I haven't experienced. This is just child's play. The corner of Master Jianu's mouth twitched. He was furious, but when he saw the expectant eyes of the crowd, he calmed down. He pinched an orchid in his hand and pretended to be calm. With a kind smile on his face, he did not even touch the phlegm. It was as if nothing had happened. Chapter 1890. Before he could finish his sentence, a stone flew over with a swoosh. It was about the size of a thumb and was silent at an unbelievable speed. No one could react in time. Dong. Immediately, the pebble accurately smashed into Master Jianu's head. A huge bump appeared on his head, and the pebble was instantly shattered into pieces. Master Jianu was dumbfounded. He did not expect that bastard to hit him with a stone. That bastard knew that he could not be killed, but he did it anyway. It was a provocation, a clear provocation. Someone saw this and immediately cursed, standing up for Master Jianu. Wu Wuti, you're too much. How dare you humiliate Master Jianu with such petty tricks? Do you have any sense of morality in the pugilistic world? Come at me openly if you have the guts. That's right, Wu Wuti. You're a coward. Master Jianu is an eminent monk. How could he be angered by a despicable demon like you? Give it up. A group of people shouted angrily, glaring at Xia Ping in the distance. Ba, everyone please calm down. This is just the demon's final struggle. This proves that he's at his wit's end and is at his wit's end. That's why he resorted to such childish tricks. Master Jianu waved his hand and said calmly, do you think that a small stone can make an enlightened monk like me lose my mind and get angry? You've underestimated the self-restraint that I've cultivated for 35,736 years. My heart is as still as water and as clear as a mirror. There are no ripples at all. He stood with his hands behind his back as if nothing had happened. As expected of Master Jianu, an eminent monk of Buddhism. Such self-restraint is really high. We can't compare. He's indifferent even after being humiliated like this. It's impossible not to speak ill of him without tens of thousands of years of cultivation. I've learned a lesson, I've really learned a lesson. Only someone like Master Jianu can be considered a true master. Although the others have good cultivation, their self-restraint is extremely low. They speak ill of others at the drop of a hat. They're just boorish people who won't be respected. I sensed a Buddhist aura in front of the master. That's the presence of a true Buddha. Seems like there's hope for him to become a sage. Everyone was filled with admiration and reverence. Before he could finish his words, another black stone the size of a watermelon smashed over from afar. Like a meteor, it streaked across the sky, carrying with it a terrifying aura. Dong. The rock then smashed into Master Jianu's head. In an instant, the entire rock was shattered into pieces by his protective power. However, a large amount of debris fell on his body, making him look very pathetic. Master. Everyone was stunned as they looked at Reverend Jianu. They had not expected Wu Wuti's repeated provocations to be directed at Reverend Jianu. He wanted to slap him in the face on the spot. Wu Wuti, that's enough. You're always picking on Master Jianu. If you have the guts, come at me. That bastard knows that Master Jianu won't get angry, so he keeps causing trouble. This is bullying the weak and fearing the strong. He only knows how to bully the weak. Despicable and shameless. A group of people shouted, their emotions surging. Foolish child, form is emptiness and emptiness is form. Nothing can be done without form. Everything in the world is but an illusion, a rock the size of a watermelon. You won't be able to anger me by doing this. Demon, repent and become a Buddha. Reverend Jianu put his palms together, but when he said those words, his expression was a little stiff and ferocious. Swoosh. Before he could finish speaking, another rock smashed over. However, this was no ordinary rock. It was a huge meteorite with a diameter of 500 kilometers like a small planet. This meteorite contained powerful dermic powers. It enveloped the entire body and tore through the air, smashing directly at Reverend Jianghu's head. Before the people around him could react, Reverend Jianghu immediately exploded. He flew into a rage and cursed, "Wu Wudi, I'll screw your mother and all your ancestors. Do you really think that I don't have a temper? I've already smashed it 2 or 3 times and you still want to smash it again. This time you're even more outrageous. You threw a meteorite at me. That's too much. Even Buddhas have flames." Dong. He leaped into the air and smashed his fist, instantly smashing the meteorite into pieces and shattering it completely. "Reverend Jianghu, why are you angry? Didn't Buddha say to forgive? If someone slaps your left cheek, you should put your right cheek forward and let him slap you as well, forgiving all their sins?" Xia Ping said calmly. "Forgive my ass. That's what those birdmen from the angel clan said. It has nothing to do with Buddha. I'll send you to Buddha now." Reverend Jianghu was furious. Balls of golden Buddhist light erupted from his body, and a Dharma form of heaven and earth formed behind him. It was a glaring Vajra, and terrifying flames of rage erupted from his body. It was like the Buddhist karmic fire that could burn everything. That kid is finished. He actually dared to anger Elder Jianghu. He doesn't know that Elder Jianghu has cultivated the glaring Vajra magic. The angrier he is, the more terrifying his Buddhist magic will be. With his anger as his foundation, he won't die until his anger is completely burned. He'll fight to the death and won't rest until he's dead. This is the wrath of Buddha. A Buddhist monk revealed some information about Reverend Jianghu. Reverend Jianghu charged forward. His entire body was golden, as though he was cast from gold. Buddhist runes covered his entire body, as though scriptures had covered his entire body. Every inch of his body contained terrifying Buddhist power. No evil spirit could get close to him. The Dharma form of heaven and earth behind him was glaring Vajra. It was 3,000 feet tall, and its golden hands came crashing down. It was as though it wanted to shatter the void and set off boundless waves. "Reverend, anger won't solve any problems. You'd better calm down." Xia Ping activated the 9 heavens' mysterious underworld force within him. Balls of white cold air gushed out from his body, instantly covering a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers. It turned into a vast white world as though everything had been frozen. This was no ordinary cold air. It was the Xianming cold air that he had obtained from the ice demon saint. He had melted it into his body, multiplying the power of the 9 heavens' mysterious underworld force. It could even extinguish ordinary extraordinary flames. All living creatures that came into contact with the Xianming cold air would be frozen and unable to move. What? Reverend Jianghu was shocked. He could naturally sense how terrifying the Xianming cold air was. It was as though it was absolute ice from the depths of the ice dimension, capable of freezing everything. Although the Buddhist hellfire on his body was extremely terrifying and could burn all demons to death, the problem was that it was just an illusory flame. It could only target karma and not real matter. This was also the biggest weakness of the Buddhist hellfire. In an instant, Reverend Jianghu did not even have time to react. He did not even have the chance to make a move before his entire body was frozen by the Xianming cold air. He was turned into a huge human-shaped ice sculpture. He stood in the void as though he was an eternal Buddha sculpture. Chapter 1891. Elder Jianghu. When the Buddhist monks saw this, their eyes widened. They did not expect Reverend Jianghu to be subdued so easily by Wu Wudi and be frozen so easily. This was far beyond their expectations and they panicked. After all, Master Jianghu was an elder of the Buddhist sect. If he was killed today, it would be an unbearable loss for the Buddhist sect. Demon, let Master Jianghu go immediately. Kill. Buddhist divine ability Prajna Palm. Vajra Finger. Arhat Fist. The group of Buddhist monks was enraged. They immediately used their various divine abilities, and the Dharma of Buddhas quickly condensed behind them, absorbing the essence chi of the world within 3,000 miles. Terrifying Buddhist power gathered, and faint Sanskrit sounds could be heard. Buddhist divine abilities attacked Xia Ping in an attempt to force him back and save Master Jianghu. Xianming sky 3 feet freeze. Xia Ping stood in place and did not move. He struck out with his palm and the dermic powers in his body surged. The Xianming frost chi within 300 million kilometers surged like a raging sea, making loud noises. The Xianming frost chi swept over like a storm, sweeping across the world. Rumble, in an instant, the Buddhist divine abilities of the dozen or so Buddhist sages were all destroyed. The power of their divine abilities was shaken into a ball of essence chi, and at the same time the terrifying Shenming frost chi invaded their lungs and every cell. In the next second, the group of Buddhist monks turned into ice sculptures. Everyone could see the various emotions of the monks before they were frozen. Perhaps it was fear, anger, reluctance, or disbelief. Countless emotions floated on the surface, vivid and lifelike. Wu Wuti lives up to his name. He's too powerful. Are you kidding me? He's only at the early stage of the Transcendence realm? Even a Tribulation realm cultivator might not have such strength. I heard that Wu Wuti once received Saint Panwu's inheritance and a Panwu true scripture. He trained his dermic powers to an unfathomable level. Damn it, how did this kid get Saint Panwu's inheritance? It's so unfair. Putting aside the possibility of a trap, even if there isn't a trap with this kid's strength, ordinary people won't be able to do anything to him. Seeing so many Buddhist monks being frozen, the surrounding cultivators were shocked. Wu Wuti's name was like the shadow of a tree. Although they had heard of many of Wu Wuti's deeds and great reputation, they had never seen it with their own eyes, so they still had some doubts. He was just a kid, so how could he become a universal wanted criminal? However, when they saw this scene, they immediately had no more doubts. This kind of mystic art was simply unimaginable. He had already cultivated the mystic art to the acme of perfection. Everyone come and beat me to death. Stop dilly-dallying. Of course, if you don't dare to come, then I'll go over and beat you to death. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, his body exuding a violent aura. What? Feeling this terrifying murderous aura, everyone couldn't help but retreat thousands of kilometers, as if they had fallen into an endless illusion. A world of mountains of corpses and seas of blood appeared in the depths of their consciousness, filled with the aura of eternity, chaos, blood, and slaughter. In this blood-red world it was like hell. The violent murderous aura contained in it almost destroyed all vitality. The deathly still aura made them tremble, leaving seeds of fear in their hearts. Wu Wuti, you're too arrogant. This universe isn't ruled by you humans. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Suddenly, a wave of murderous aura spread out, covering the sky and the earth like an ocean, surging over, covering hundreds of millions of kilometers. Everyone couldn't help but look over, and they were all shocked. A ferocious bird flew over from afar, its wings almost covering a planet, covering the sky and the earth. Everyone could feel the murderous aura of this ferocious bird, and they were all terrified. It let out a piercing shriek, and the demonic sound pierced through everyone's ears. The blood of some weaker people immediately boiled, their blood vessels ruptured, and they were seriously injured. They couldn't resist at all. Oh no, this is the baleful crow demon bird that contains the bloodline of an ancient ferocious beast. Someone immediately exclaimed. They could tell that this ferocious bird was the famous baleful crow demon bird in the universe. Legend had it that the patriarch of the baleful crow demon bird race was extremely terrifying. He could swallow a star in one bite, and even some saints had been swallowed by him before. How can I miss such a show? I want this human. The essence of his flesh and blood is extremely rich. After eating him, I can immediately evolve and break through to a higher level. A voice rang through the void. Suddenly, a huge red snake monster flew over from afar. It had 6 legs and 4 wings, and its body was extremely huge. It was at least 13,000 kilometers long, as if it could wrap a planet with its body. Fei, this is the primordial Fei. It's actually here. Someone recognized the true identity of this snake monster. It was the famous Fei from the primordial era. It was said that once this snake monster appeared, the land within 1,000 miles became scarlet. It was proficient in fire elemental techniques, and its body contained a terrifying strange fire. It was extremely ferocious and extremely powerful. The surrounding people couldn't help but quickly retreat because it was too hot around the Fei. The temperature had increased by tens of thousands of degrees. This kind of temperature was enough to burn gold and melt iron. Ordinary people couldn't withstand this kind of temperature at all. Even if they could withstand it, they would need to constantly use their spiritual energy to resist this heat. The amount of spiritual energy needed was extremely shocking. Fei, baleful crow demon bird, get out of here. This human belongs to me, the amethyst tiger. He once came to the Western universe to cause trouble and killed the heavens' favorites of my tiger clan. This hatred is absolutely irreconcilable. I will definitely take his life. Whoever dares to stop me will die. No mercy. In the distance, a huge tiger that looked like it was made out of purple crystals appeared. It was thousands of meters tall, like a mountain. It emitted a purple light and looked exceptionally beautiful. However, everyone could see that this amethyst tiger was extremely violent. It contained a domineering aura and its entire body was made out of purple crystals. Ordinary treasures could not break through the amethyst tiger's defense. This was also an primordial descendant. Amethyst tiger, don't be too arrogant. This human has caught the eye of my void butterfly. I must kill him and make a name for myself. The one standing at the peak of the universe must be my golden ant clan. Killing him will make me famous. I want all of his bounty. No one is allowed to take it. I am an elder of the Demon Kun clan. Following the arrival of the amethyst tiger, baleful crow demon bird, fae and other primordial descendants, other tyrannical experts also arrived. For example, the lion clan's nine-headed lion, the demon butterfly clan's void butterfly, the ant clan's golden ant and so on. They arrived in an instant, emitting a violent demonic energy that shook the void and shook the planet. My God, so many experts have arrived. Chapter 1892. So it's you bunch of demons and monsters? Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and looked at the group of primordial descendants. You guys have such guts? You really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Come and die immediately. Everyone was shocked. This brat's guts were boundless. Facing so many primordial descendants, each of which was a tyrannical race that stood at the peak, he still dared to provoke them. However, when they thought about it, this brat even dared to reveal his true identity and take the initiative to challenge them. This was boundlessly arrogant. Why would he be afraid of these primordial descendants? Die. Lowly human, who do you think you are? I'll eat you alive. The baleful crow demon bird flapped its wings, covering the sky and earth. It rolled up a dark fog that covered a radius of 1 billion kilometers, as if all the light was swallowed into the black fog. A terrifying and ruthless aura spread out from the black fog. It turned into a beam of black light, its speed exceeding 10,000 times the speed of sound. It stretched out a huge claw that could pierce through gold and crack rocks. It was as if this claw could crush a planet. Everyone could feel the terror of this claw. If they were in front of this claw, they would most likely be crushed in an instant. This baleful crow demon bird's cultivation had already reached the middle stage of the thunder retribution realm. Its magic power was world-shaking. Just a feathered beast. Scram. A terrifying magic power surged out from Xia Ping's body. A heaven and earth dharma idol quickly condensed. It was a divine elephant that seemed to have walked out from the depths of hell. It emitted a terrifying power. As soon as this divine elephant appeared, it madly rushed towards the baleful crow demon bird, sweeping everything in its path. Dong. The huge claw and the divine elephant collided. It was as if two planets had collided, resulting in a shocking explosion. Countless balls of yuan qi exploded on the spot, causing sparks to fly everywhere. Ah! Immediately, the baleful crow demon bird let out a mournful scream. It actually discovered that its strength could not compare to this divine elephant. That astonishing brute force could tear everything apart. The opponent collided with its claws, instantly shattering its claws that were as hard as mica steel. A stream of blood sprayed out like a fountain. Its huge body also could not withstand this huge force. It was as if it had been hit by a cosmic fortress. It flew backwards and its internal organs were heavily injured on the spot. It couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. It was sent flying for thousands of kilometers before it finally stopped. Impossible. What kind of monstrous power is this? It's actually able to send me flying without being able to resist at all. The baleful crow demon bird was horrified and simply couldn't believe it. That pure brute force was too powerful. It didn't contain any elemental power, it was just brute force. But when it was pure to the extreme, it represented extreme power. With just a single strike, all of the fiendish energy on its body had been completely pulverized, and it had not been able to harm its opponent in the slightest. Haha, stupid bird, how can you deal with this human with your strength? Just wait for me. Only my Fei clan is the real overlord of the universe. We are invincible. Wait for me to burn you to death. The Fei made its move. Although its body was huge, with a length of 13,000 kilometers, and it was extremely fat, it was extremely agile. It danced in the starry sky, leaving behind a series of afterimages. Fei Yi's divine power, burning heaven and earth. The Fei roared in anger. It opened its mouth and spat out a ball of flame. This ball of flame was extremely big, like a small sun. It had a diameter of 30,000 kilometers and was emitting a red light. The surrounding people felt the terrifying heat and quickly retreated, because the water in the surroundings was quickly evaporating. If they stayed near this ball of flame, even their blood would be evaporated, and they would quickly become dry corpses. They all knew the terror of the Fae, an immemorial descendant. Even a drop of its blood contained an extremely strong heat. Once it fell on the surface of a planet, it would immediately turn 1,000 miles red. Dozens of volcanoes would erupt and countless rivers of lava would be formed. This was the real monster of the drought land, and it could be compared to the drought demon clan. To some extent, the Fae was probably even more powerful than the drought demon clan. Playing with fire in front of me? Damn fat snake, you are playing with a big knife in front of Guangong, and trying to show off in front of Confucius. Xiaoping made his move. Martial divine power, Hell Golden Crow Claw. Boom, in the blink of an eye, a Hell Golden Crow flew out from his back. It was a divine beast that spanned across the heaven and earth, with dark golden flames burning fiercely. It was just a phantom, but everyone wanted to crawl down as if they had met a god. This was the suppression of their bloodline and they could barely move. The Hell Golden Crow gently stretched out its claw, and the ball of flame was instantly crushed. Then it sucked in a big breath and swallowed the flame that was spat out by the Fae. It also let out a burp. Oh no, run away quickly. Seeing this scene, the Fae was dumbfounded. It was so scared that it almost peed its pants. It immediately knew that it had met its real nemesis. The opponent was not afraid of the Fae flame at all, and could even swallow its flame. How powerful was this opponent? It was not a match for it at all. Its huge body twisted and it wanted to run away on the spot. But it was too late. From the depths of the void, a dark golden giant claw slapped over, and with a bang, the Fae's huge body was immediately caught and held tightly. It was like a giant pinching a small snake, making it unable to move. Even the flame from hell and the golden crow seeped into the Fae's body, burning it so fiercely that it screamed and felt unprecedented pain. As a monster of the fire element, it should have a very high resistance to the power of fire. But now it was burned to this extent, which was really frightening. It could be imagined that the level of the mystical flame was far higher than its own Fae flame. Fae? Hearing this name, I know it's delicious. It's a top-grade ingredient. It seems that I have to catch you back to breed and give birth to a bunch of small Fae, which I can eat every day in the future. Xiaoping touched his chin. Originally, he wanted to pinch this fat snake to death on the spot, but after thinking about it carefully, he realized that such a huge snake monster seemed to have the power of continuous regeneration. Cutting off a piece of it, it could grow back quickly, and it also contained the bloodline of an ancient species. It was simply a top-grade ingredient, which could be used to produce meat endlessly. If he killed this Fae now, he was afraid that he would suffer a great loss, and the path of sustainable development was the right one. Devil, this human is a devil, hurry up and save me, I don't want to breed, I don't want to be eaten, help. Hearing these words, the Fae was so scared that it cried. It kept struggling, looking at the ancient species around it with its big watery eyes, hoping that someone could save it and not fall into the hands of this devil. But it was too late to say these words. Whoosh! Xiaoping grabbed the Fae back in an instant, then opened the spatial door of the Mountain River Pearl, threw the Fae into the Mountain River Pearl and suppressed it. Chapter 1893. Damn it, that fat snake was captured by this human. Damn, that fat snake is an archaic remnant, but it's not a match for this human? This is a bit tricky. This human is a bit abnormal. We might not be his match in a one-on-one fight. What a joke. You're boosting his morale and belittling your own. You're the joke. This is just the truth. Don't let arrogance blind you. Strength is everything. Many archaic remnant species discussed. Seeing the baleful crow demon bird sent flying and the Fae captured alive, they immediately raised Xiaoping's danger level by several levels, listing him as a powerful enemy that could not be easily provoked. Although they were all extremely confident, they were at most on par with the baleful crow demon bird and the Fae. Now that two of them were not Wu Wudi's match, it was likely that they would not be able to survive if they went up. This Wu Wudi is not simple. His cultivation is unfathomable. Where did he come from? He can even capture an archaic remnant alive? The other races were also shocked by what had just happened. Only now did they realize that this universal fugitive was not so easy to deal with. No wonder he was so arrogant and looked down on everyone in the universe. Perhaps he's the heir of some ancient family from the central universe. Otherwise, it's impossible for him to have such shocking strength. Some people guessed that Wu Wudi's identity might be from the central universe. For a moment, no one dared to move. They seem to be sizing up Xiaoping, trying to find a flaw in him. No one dares to make a move? This is too disappointing. In that case, I'll do it myself. With a thud, Xiaoping took a step forward and everything within billions of kilometers shook. Endless qi of the world quickly gathered in the depths of his body and poured into the 9 purple mansions. Immediately, with his body as the center, a huge energy vortex formed. Boom. A kuei walked out of the vortex. Its body was surrounded by terrifying lightning, as if it had connected to the dimension of lightning. Its horns were like lightning spears, piercing through everything and flashing with lightning. A divine elephant stood tall in the sky, roaring at the sky. Its huge body seemed to occupy all space, and the aura it emitted seemed to be able to suppress countless gods and demons. A heavenly dragon flew out from the depths of the void. It was suffused with a terrifying dragon's might, and it brought along boundless clouds and mist. It shook the surrounding people to the point that they shivered and almost prostrated themselves. A Taodai formed a black hole. It was invisible and formless, quietly standing in the depths of the void. It produced a tyrannical devouring power. Even light that approached it would be quickly distorted and turned into nothingness. 4 heaven and earth dharma idols appeared in an instant, suppressing the 4 directions. They were like 4 ancient divine beasts attacking from the north, south, east, and west, attacking the group of archaic descendants. You actually dare to take the initiative to attack. I haven't even provoked you, yet you dare to provoke this king. Human, you are courting death. The amethyst tiger was shocked and angry. It never thought that in this kind of ambush situation, this human would dare to take the initiative to attack and directly come to the door. It saw the kuei ox rush over murderously, bringing with it the power of tens of thousands of streaks of lightning, its aura terrifying. The bloodline deep within its body was warning it of great danger. Amethyst godly fist. The amethyst tiger roared angrily, roaring in the void. Waves of purple magic surged out of its body, blasting out tens of thousands of purple fists. It was as if they were condensed from amethyst, becoming solid and indestructible. Under these fist marks, even a planet would be completely smashed into smithereens. Moreover, they also had the power of corrosion. If ordinary objects came into contact with the power of amethyst, they would quickly crystallize, stealing the aura of life and turning into statues made of amethyst. However, the kuei ox rushed over. Its body contained a supreme scripture, chaotic thunder technique. This was the general outline of all thunder techniques in the world, surpassing everything in the mortal world, and it emitted the aura of tribulation thunder. Bolts of purple lightning struck down, as if the thunder god was holding a spear and conquering the world. It pierced through the bodies of the generals, as if the thunder god was also judging the sins of the people. Dong. Immediately, the countless purple fists in the air were smashed into pieces by the tribulation thunder, turning into powder. Even the tiny power of the tribulation thunder was the size of a hair. It penetrated the void and quickly entered the amethyst tiger's body. Ah! Suddenly, the amethyst tiger let out a shrill scream. It suddenly found that it seemed to be facing the tribulation thunder. The electricity made its whole body numb and it could not move at all. The purple fur all over its body stood up, like a hedgehog. At the same time, its whole body felt weak. 9 lion divine light. The 9-headed lion's face was ferocious. Its 9 heads opened their mouths at the same time and let out a terrifying roar, spewing out sound waves. Countless sound runes gathered together and condensed into a substance. It was like a star-annihilating cannon with infinite power. Everyone could see how terrifying the golden divine light was. There were ripples in the depths of the void. If it was hit, it would immediately turn into powder. However, the divine elephant rushed over and did not dodge. It was incomparably tyrannical, carrying with it a terrifying energy wave. It seemed that when it ran, it would set off a spatial storm. Boom. In an instant, the 9-lion divine light bombarded the divine elephant and suddenly disappeared. It was smashed by the divine elephant's body, and a mass of energy collapsed and turned into vitality. What? I flew out. In the next second, the 9-headed lion's 9 heads were completely dumbfounded. It felt that its 9 heads seemed to have lost consciousness, and its whole body flew out without any resistance. It seemed that it had only been hit by the divine elephant, but 70% of the bones in its body were broken. Its internal organs were severely damaged on the spot, and blood sprayed out freely. If it was not for the 9-headed lion's strong body and the bloodline of the primordial vicious beasts, it was afraid that just a light hit would have turned its whole body into a mass of meat paste. Oh my God. The surrounding people were scared half to death. Two primordial descendants stood at the peak of the universe. They had the primordial bloodline, and their strength was far beyond that of ordinary cultivators. However, in an instant, this human had crippled two primordial descendants, and it did not take much effort. Stupid human, you dare to offend the Golden Ant clan. Even if you die, you won't know how to write it. Haven't you heard of the saying, many ants can kill an elephant? Do you think I came alone? The Golden Ant shouted angrily. It opened its mouth and immediately revealed a dark wormhole. From the depths of this wormhole, millions of golden ants flew out, and there was even an endless stream of golden ants flying out from the depths of the black hole. It seemed that the number of golden ants was at least over 100 million. Although their strength was not as strong as the golden ant leader, their number was really too much. Even an army could not compare to it. Chapter 1894. Haha human, today I will show you the horror of the ants of gold. Damn, what is this? Help, ah. The ant of gold laughed and was in high spirits. It wanted to command many ants to attack and completely drown this small human with the advantage of numbers. It wanted to show its power and let the universe know the horror of the ants of gold. But before it could do anything, the Tautai rushed over and opened its mouth. It turned into a black hole, covering hundreds of millions of kilometers, covering the sky and the sun, and instantly shrouded. With a slurping sound, the ant of gold and its many subordinates did not know what happened. They were instantly swallowed by the Tautai, leaving only the shrill screams of the ants of gold. Then even the screams stopped abruptly and the surroundings were quiet. My God, what happened just now? Didn't the ants of gold plan to show their power? Why did they disappear in an instant? Things happened too fast. Before I could figure it out, the ants of gold were gone. Everyone was dumbfounded. They planned to see the horrible power of the ants of gold and the horror of the ants of gold. They did not expect that there was no chance for the ants of gold to show their power. In just an instant, the group of ants of gold was gone, disappeared without a trace. In fact, these ants of gold were indeed powerful. With the advantage of numbers, they could simply sweep away countless enemies. The problem was that they were extremely unlucky to meet their nemesis, the Tautai, which was one of the 10 primordial fierce beasts. Even among the many primordial descendants, it was a horrible existence among the top 10. The ants of gold were also primordial descendants, but they were still incomparable to the Tautai. Not to mention the Tautai contained the power of devouring. That kind of greed, endless demand and bottomless darkness, no matter how many ants of gold came, it was useless. 100 million, 1 billion, 10 billion, they were just numbers that could be swallowed in one bite. Of course they were not dead. Instead, they were quickly transferred to the depths of the space of the Pearl of Mountain and River by Xiaoping's magical power and were temporarily suppressed. However, in the eyes of outsiders, the group of ants of gold was dead. They were killed in an instant without leaving a single drop. My God, who is the primordial descendant? Run. The void butterfly was so scared that it peed itself. It wished that its parents had given it a few more pairs of wings. The wings on its body lightly shook, and the surrounding void produced waves of ripples. It used its innate divine ability. In an instant, its entire body turned into nothingness. It fled into the void wanting to escape. However, such an action was futile. After obtaining the black hole worm, Xiaoping's comprehension of void energy and space energy had reached an unprecedented level. Even the void butterfly couldn't compare to him. After all, the black hole worm stood at the pinnacle of space-type creatures. In terms of understanding of space, if the black hole worm claimed to be second, no one would dare claim to be first. Immediately, Xiaoping's divine sense permeated the space within a radius of several 100 million kilometers. He immediately sensed a transparent object flying and swimming in the depths of the void, trying to escape from this place. Boom, with a thought, the primordial sky dragon opened its eyes and emitted a terrifying dragon might. With a gentle swipe of its gigantic dragon claws, it tore through the void and instantly sent the void butterfly flying. No, no, no! The void butterfly shrieked, feeling great danger. It operated its divine ability in an attempt to speed up, but it couldn't do anything. Its body was immediately captured by the primordial sky dragon's claws. It was as if its body would be crushed in an instant. In the next second, its entire body disappeared. It was instantly captured into the space of the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers. It's over. Even the void butterfly has fallen into the hands of this human. My God, just how strong is this human? Even we, the primordial species, are no match for him? Many of the primordial species' hair stood on end. Seeing the void butterfly and the other primordial species being captured and crippled, they couldn't help but feel their hair stand on end. All of you come here. Xia Ping took a step forward and punched. The void trembled and another Dharma idol stepped out of the void. It was a 1,000-armed Buddha, shining with infinite golden light. The 1,000-armed Buddha was tens of thousands of meters tall. More than 1,000 hands came crashing down like a demon god. It slapped towards the group of primordial species like an eagle catching chicks. It wanted to capture all the primordial species. The first to bear the brunt was the raven demon bird. It had just been severely injured by Xia Ping. Now that it was specially targeted, how could it escape? In an instant, it was caught by the Buddha's hand. It was grabbed by the neck and brought back just like that. Its huge body struggled. It even wanted to turn into a cloud of black mist to escape, but it was to no avail. It was as if it was caught by the hand. Its dermic powers were all sealed by the Buddhist scriptures. It had nowhere to escape. Bastard. This shameless human. He's crazy. Everyone run. Don't get caught. Otherwise you'll be captured for breeding. You'll have your flesh cut every day and become food on his plate. This is worse than being a slave. Wu Wudi, I'm not done with you. Our patriarch of the primordial species will not let you off for doing such an infuriating thing. One by one, the primordial species were scared out of their wits. They put on a brave front but were cowardly on the inside. There were very few of them. There were only 20 to 30 of them this time. They were so scared that they scattered in all directions. They were afraid that they would be captured by Xia Ping and never be able to escape. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded. Just now, that group of primordial descendants had been so arrogant. As soon as they appeared, they said that they would kill Wu Wudi and make a name for themselves. Who would have thought that they would be fleeing like stray dogs? It could only be said that Wu Wudi was too valiant. He did not seem like a human at all. Wu Wudi, don't you dare be so arrogant. Do you think you can capture the primordial species as you wish? I'll kill you. At this moment, a teleportation array appeared in the depths of the void. Huge figures appeared in the starry sky, emitting waves of tyrannical lightning power. This group of figures was the Thunder Demon clan. As soon as they appeared, there were thousands of them. The one who spoke was the clan leader, Lei Bao. They rushed with all their might and finally arrived in the starry sky. When Lei Bao saw that Wu Wudi was so arrogant and was still capturing primordial species everywhere, he was so arrogant that he did not care about his son's life. One could imagine how angry he was. As soon as he appeared, he joined the many Thunder Demon subordinates and immediately attacked Xia Ping. Thunder falls on the earth, judge evil. Suddenly, millions of lightning bolts bombarded like raindrops. Each bolt was as thick as an arm. They were powerful and destroyed hundreds of millions of kilometers, almost covering the entire area. Escape. Sensing this destructive aura, Xia Ping estimated that even a peak thunder tribulation expert would die. His figure flickered and a ball of primordial chi wrapped around his body. Chapter 1895. Boom, balls of thunder energy exploded, turning this place upside down and forcing Xia Ping to retreat. The invincible strength of the Thunder Goblin clan was suddenly displayed, shocking the surrounding onlookers. The group of primordial descendants was even more grateful. If it wasn't for the sudden attack of this group of Thunder Goblins, they would have been captured by that damn Wu Wudi to breed. What a tragic end that would be. Damn it, he escaped. However, a Thunder Goblin elder was very regretful. He could have taken advantage of the attack just now to completely kill this kid and destroy his primordial spirit, but he didn't expect that he would still be able to escape. It doesn't matter. The monk can run but the temple can't. If I don't die this time, I will definitely die next time. Lei Bao sneered and stared at Xia Ping with a pair of vertical pupils. His body was filled with a terrible murderous aura, which was almost condensed into a substance. He couldn't wait to immediately chop this human into pieces. You actually dared to attack me and even sneak attacked me. You have guts. What? You Thunder Goblins also want to be captured by me and become my food? But look at how skinny you are, I can tell at a glance that you don't taste good. You must be hungry every day. Could it be that the Thunder Goblin clan has no food and often suffers from famine? Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and stared at the group of Thunder Goblins who suddenly appeared. Desolate my ass. This is the body of my Thunder Goblin clan, lean and sturdy. Don't you understand? Ignorant guy. You want to keep us in captivity? Who is the audacious one? Human, you still dare to talk when you're about to die. Previously you killed my clan's young master and many elites of the Thunder Goblin. Today you will definitely die. Go to hell and accompany my clan's young master. Many Thunder Goblins were infuriated, and their anger erupted. Countless thunderbolts exploded around them, as if the god of thunder in the sky was angry. Balls of thunderbolts shattered, reformed, and then shattered again. Kill. Lei Bao shouted angrily. Without any nonsense, he took out a peerless spiritual weapon, the Thunder God's Spear. Suddenly, thunder surged from the flat ground, and the thunderbolts turned into pearls, surging like a raging sea. Swoosh. He held the Thunder God's Spear and attacked Xia Ping. Thousands of thunderbolts gathered together and condensed into the Thunder God's attack. It was like a judgment thunder pillar, tearing apart everything. Brother Lei Bao, let me help you. This kid and my Wandu clan have an irreconcilable enmity, I swear to kill him. At that moment, another force descended from the sky. There were more than 1,000 of them, and they were all at least at the peak of the Dharma stage. They exuded the aura of various poisonous mists. There were black, purple, blue, yellow, and so on. Each poisonous mist seemed to condense into the form of skeletons, demons, and so on. It was frightening. This was a group of elders from the 10,000 Poison clan. They had traveled through the night and finally arrived. When they saw the Thunder Demon clan attacking Xia Ping, they were overjoyed. How could they miss this opportunity? All poisons are unique, only I, the venerable poison master. One by one, the elders of the 10,000 Poison clan formed seals with their hands and unleashed their divine abilities. A wave of tyrannical poison element magic power blasted down. Suddenly, countless poison runes flashed in the air, containing all kinds of poisons in the world, including scorpion venom, snake venom, jellyfish venom, and so on. They were all terrifying poisons that they had collected from all over the universe. Ordinary cultivators would be poisoned to death if they came into contact with even a little bit of it. With so much poison gathered together, it would probably be able to poison the humans on thousands of planets to death. In fact, the appearance of the poisonous mist even seemed to corrode the void, and thumb-sized black holes appeared. Boom. In an instant, the poisonous mist transformed into skulls, demons, and so on. They surrounded Xia Ping and covered the entire area. No matter where he hid, he would not be able to escape the attack of the poisonous mist. Haha, Wu Wudi, you have angered everyone today and cannot escape. The Black Heaven clan is here to help you. Another force descended from the sky and directly appeared on the other side. More than 1,000 elders of the Mystic Heaven sect had arrived. When they saw Xia Ping, their eyes turned red. As the saying goes, when enemies meet, their eyes turn red. How could they remain calm? The universe is infinite, the heavenly swords crisscrossing, the mystery of the mystery. They immediately took out a flying sword and unleashed the ultimate sword formation. Immediately, tens of millions of silver sword auras appeared, densely packed like poisonous snakes. They buzzed and vibrated continuously. The number of sword auras was even more terrifying than a swarm of locusts. The mysterious Heaven sect's elders roared as they unhesitatingly held their flying swords. They ferociously activated their sword runes and immediately attacked Xia Ping like a torrent of rain. Each sword aura had the power to tear apart cultivators of the same level. The attack was unparalleled. 3 forces are attacking at the same time. Looks like Wu Wudi is done for. Not necessarily. This brat is very strange. It'll be very difficult to kill him. Looks like we can see his trump card. Let's see what he's capable of. Everyone's eyes flashed as they watched the show. You're finally here. I've been waiting for a long time. Flame River 9 Bends formation activate. Xia Ping could naturally sense how terrifying this power was. He could not resist it with his own power, but he had already set up many restrictive formations here. He could borrow the power of heaven and earth to resist it. Suddenly, 9 holes in the fire dimension opened, and endless flames surged out from the depths of the dimension. In an instant, the flames quickly turned into 9 flaming rivers that traversed the heavens and earth. These were not ordinary flaming rivers. They were the essence of the sun, the fire of drought, the fire of Buddhism, the flame of angels, the blazing star fire, the golden crow fire of hell, and the dragon flame. Each flaming river was like the yellow springs of the underworld. They contained terrifying destructive power that could drown all enemies. Boom. With just one attack, the formation rose and instantly destroyed the spells of the Thunder Demon clan, the 10,000 Poison clan, and the Mystic Heaven sect. They were all sent flying. The lightning in the sky was turned to dust, the poisonous mist was burned to ashes, and the endless sword chi was dispersed. All the cultivators could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Their lungs were injured. At this moment, Xiaoping had a deeper understanding of the Flame River Nine Bends formation. As he continued to use the flames in his body, he became more familiar with it. The golden crow of hell bloodline in his body was stimulated. 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, 1,000,000 golden crow of hell cells awakened one after another. Suddenly, these golden crow of hell cells surged out a huge amount of energy and entered his limbs and bones. It flowed into his 9 purple mansions and increased his magic power to the peak of the early stage of the Transcendence realm. He felt that the martial arts foundation in his body had stabilized a lot. Fighting with strong cultivators had benefited him a lot. In fact, the golden crow of hell bloodline was a physique for battle. The stronger the opponent, the better the improvement. The stronger the opponent, the faster the improvement. Chapter 1896. He actually set up a formation here? Why didn't we discover it? That's right. Just now, my divine sense permeated the void, but there was nothing. There was nothing. Moreover, he defeated 3 major forces in one go. Such a formation is no small matter. It's impossible for it to be completely untraceable. I can only say that Wu Wudi's attainments and formations are extremely high. He has already reached a realm that ordinary people can't even imagine. That's why he can hide the traces of a formation without leaving a trace. Everyone was shocked. They had also guessed that Wu Wudi would definitely have some tricks up his sleeves if he was nearby, so they were not too surprised. However, seeing Wu Wudi silently activate a formation still surprised them. They felt that this famous universal wanted criminal was indeed worthy of his reputation. Wu Wudi, you do have some ability, but can you stop the Angel Clan? In an instant, another force descended from the void. Suddenly, a group of angels appeared, emitting white light. They had wings on their backs and they were incomparably holy. Taking advantage of this moment, they instantly attacked Xiaoping without holding back. Angels' judgment, purify sins. Many angels used their divine abilities, holding spears in their hands, and beams of scorching white holy light shot out. This was the angels' light of judgment, and it was extremely powerful. If an ordinary person was hit by it, their primordial spirit would instantly be destroyed, disappearing into nothingness, and all their sins would be eliminated. Tens of thousands of beams of light of judgment shot out, and everything within a radius of thousands of kilometers seemed to turn pure white and holy. All the darkness was expelled as if this area had become heaven. Indistinctly, there seemed to be countless angels singing praises in the depths of the void, praising the greatness of God. Demon, you killed my elder Jianghu. The Buddhists will not forgive you. On the other side, a group of Buddhists also descended. Buddha's light shone brightly and there were thousands of them. All of them were bald and there seemed to be golden halos of wisdom behind them. They also knew what had happened to elder Jianghu. She had been frozen into an ice sculpture by this brat, and her fate was unknown. This immediately enraged them and they wanted to kill this demon. Arhats subdue demons, Buddhas descend. One after another, mighty Buddhas made their moves. Behind them, Buddhas appeared, radiating golden light in all directions. Buddhist scriptures appeared one after another, suppressing down. In the face of this power, any demonic power would be purified. At the same time, it contained an unparalleled sealing power. The group of Buddhist sect elders seemed to want to instantly seal Xiaoping up. The surrounding people were all shocked. They could feel the power of these Buddhist scriptures. Just one of them could completely seal the cultivation of a Thunder Retribution Realm expert, turning him into a mortal. This was also the terror of the Buddhist sections. Their sealing techniques were unparalleled in the world. Even if there were demons with higher cultivation than them, they could easily seal them. Legend has it that there was a demon subduing pagoda inside the Thunder Temple, which suppressed countless demons and devils in the universe. These Buddhist elders chanted sutras day and night to purify the demonic energy. Haha, Wu Wudi, you're about to die. You offended the ancient moon sect, the great sky sect, and the heavenly mirror sect. You never thought this day would come. Now is the time to kick you when you're down. Die obediently. With a boom, 3 forces descended from the void in the distance. They were all saint-level sects from the northern universe. They were at least at the peak of the Dharma plane, and more than half of them were Thunder Retribution Realm experts. When they arrived and saw Xiaoping being surrounded, they were immediately overjoyed. They hurriedly added insult to injury and attacked at the same time. One after another, magic matrices crushed down from the void. There were thousands of them, and every inch of the void was filled with terrifying energy. Even a sun could not withstand such power and would explode directly. Damn, how many people has this Wu Wuti offended? Just now, 3 forces, the Thunder Demon Clan, the 10,000 Poison Clan, and the Shentian sect came to kill him. Now the Angel Clan, the Luohan Clan, the Ancient Moon sect, the Great Sky sect, the Heavenly Mirror sect, and other saint-level forces of the Northern Universe have appeared. There are so many enemies. Someone was stunned. He had seen wanted criminals and peerless demons, but he had never seen such a detestable demon. It seemed that the entire universe was his enemy, and the number of enemies was endless. The appearance of each force made his scalp go numb. If he was Wu Wuti, he would have been killed long ago. There was no way he would have survived until now. I don't know. I only know that this kid has already angered both humans and gods. The group of people was speechless. They all felt that Wu Wuti was an extreme person. He did not have a single friend in the world. Are you all out? Then let's die together. Suppress them all. Seeing so many enemies appear, Xiaoping was unmoved. He waved his hand, and suddenly the ambushes in the surroundings immediately appeared, covering a radius of billions of kilometers. The first to appear was the Peach Blossom Miasma Array. Peach blossoms filled the void, and no one knew how many there were. At the same time, peach blossom trees bloomed, filling the air with pink petals. They scattered everywhere, as if this place had turned into a world of peach blossoms. The many cultivators in this array suddenly realized that they had lost contact with the people around them. They fell into an endless illusion. Even if they used their divine senses, they could not sense their surroundings. It seemed that the fragrance of the peach blossoms could distort their divine senses. The second array was the Heavenly Cycle Stars Array. In the sky above the peach blossom trees, there were at least hundreds of millions of stars. The sky was full of stars, emitting a blue light. It was extremely bright. Wave after wave of the power of the stars exploded. It was like a collision of stars. In an instant, the attacks of the Angel Clan, the Luo Clan, the Ancient Moon sect, the Great Sky sect, the Heavenly Reflection sect, and other forces were completely disintegrated, turning into a mass of vitality. Damn it, we've been tricked. Is this the kid's goal? To use the illusion array to separate us and then defeat us one by one. Someone immediately understood Wu Wuti's goal. In the illusory array, even though they were very close, they couldn't sense each other. Damn it, what a powerful illusion array. It's almost at the peak of illusion arrays. It can almost pass off the fake as the real thing. My heavenly eye of the Buddhist clan can't see through the illusion array. A powerful Buddhist cultivator's expression was very ugly. He thought that he could use his heavenly eye to see through the illusion of the world, but now he was blocked by this great array. He could not see through the illusion array. This was to be expected. This was because this great array was created by Xiaoping by combining the true solution of illusions and many array knowledge. It was almost at the peak of the first level of the illusion realm. Ordinary divine skills could not see through it at all. This was enough to prove how powerful the true solution of illusions from the depths of hell was. It was definitely an extraordinary secret technique. It's okay. I've cultivated the mind-reading technique. I can communicate with my surroundings through telepathy. This array can block divine senses, but it can't block the voice of the soul. Chapter 1897. There's a Buddhist elder who's cultivated thought steal? Xiaoping was the master of this great array, so he could naturally hear the voices of others. He knew everything inside the array like the back of his hand, and he could see everything clearly. Apparently, the thought steal was an extremely powerful spiritual ability, comparable to the telepathic heart art. However, it wasn't that easy to cultivate it. There was only one condition to successfully cultivate thought steal, and that was to be born with a 7 orifices exquisite heart. Without it, no matter how hard you tried, you couldn't cultivate it. For a long time, no one in the Buddhist sect had heard of anyone successfully cultivating thought steal. Who would have thought that one would appear here? But do you think I'll give you the chance to contact each other? Die all of you. Xiaoping sneered. He formed a seal with both hands and activated another formation. 5 elemental tribulation lightning formation. Immediately the entire sky was filled with dark clouds. Huge wormholes opened one after another. It was the dimension of thunder. Countless thunder energy seemed to surge out from the depths of the dimension. Moreover, this wasn't ordinary thunder but tribulation thunder. No matter what race or creature, even primordial species, they all had an innate fear of tribulation thunder. This was because once tribulation thunder appeared, it would immediately target the body and soul. It It would cause almost irreparable damage. No matter how strong one's body was, it was useless. If one couldn't block it, they would die. Damn it, Tribulation Lightning, this is Tribulation Lightning. This son of a bitch has triggered Tribulation Lightning. He wants us to die, all of us. A Thunder Retribution Realm expert shouted in horror. In reality, the 5 elemental Tribulation Lightning formation's power was similar to the Flaming River 9 Melody formation. However, from a certain perspective, it was the nemesis of many Tribulation Realm experts. They all feared it because once they reached a certain realm, they would immediately encounter Tribulation Thunder. If they passed it, their cultivation would greatly increase, but if they couldn't, they would immediately die. Therefore, in order to not die, these Tribulation Realm old monsters tried their best to hide from the heavens, avoid the Tribulation Thunder, or delay the arrival of the Tribulation Thunder. They would wait until they had accumulated enough strength before letting the Tribulation Thunder descend. The problem was that once the 5 elemental Tribulation Lightning formation appeared, a large amount of Tribulation Thunder aura surged in the surroundings. This would trigger the Tribulation power inside their bodies. They could no longer suppress it, and the Tribulation Thunder would descend. This was especially true for some old monsters who had lived for who knew how long. Their Tribulation Thunder was even more terrifying. If that was the case, they wouldn't die at the hands of this bastard. Instead, they would die to their own Tribulation Thunder. This was the despicable plot of Wu Wuti. So that's how it is. This is that bastard Wu Wuti's true plot. He used this Thunder Tribulation formation to trigger the Thunder Tribulation in our bodies and kill us all. What a good plan. He wants to kill us all in one fell swoop. He finally understood Wu Wuti of Wu Wuti's plan. He had also understood Wu Wuti of his plan. He of his plan of. What a sinister and evil slut. He's even more sinister than the demons of our 10,000 Poison clan. He's even more sinister than the demons of the Abyss. He wants to kill so many of our Thunder Retribution Realm experts. Isn't he afraid that he'll be stuffed to death? The 10,000 Poison sect elder cursed anxiously. He could feel the seal in his body stirring. It was as if the Tribulation Thunder would descend from the void and strike his head at any time. He was already a peak Tribulation Realm cultivator. He was only one step away from becoming a sage. The problem was, if he was confident, he would have triggered the Tribulation Thunder long ago. Why would he wait until now? He knew that once the Tribulation Thunder descended, he would die without a doubt. He wouldn't even be able to be human, let alone become a sage. Once the Tribulation Thunder descended, tens of thousands of years of cultivation would turn to ashes, and his primordial spirit would be destroyed. Ah, that bitch Wu Wuti. You killed so many elders of my Black Heaven sect and now you want to wipe us out. I'll fucking kill you even as a ghost. I'll follow you even to the toilet. An elder of the Black Heaven sect cursed. He hated Xiaoping to the extreme. What are you shouting for? If shouting could kill Wu Wuti, we would have killed him dozens of times already. Why are you shouting here? Hurry up and think of a way to solve this, said an elder of the Heaven Mirror sect, gritting his teeth. What else can we do? Just wait for death. When the Tribulation Thunder descends, we'll be killed. What's the point of struggling? We're done for. We're completely done for by this brat. The elder of the Black Heaven sect said in despair. He closed his eyes and waited for death, giving up on struggling. They couldn't break the 5 elements Tribulation Thunder formation now. Even if they did, they would need a certain amount of time. However, during this time, the aura of the Tribulation Thunder around them had already triggered the Tribulation power in their bodies. At that time they would also die. I said that this brat is despicable and shameless. He wouldn't do such a suicidal thing. There must be a trap waiting for us. Now look, none of you believe me. You even foolishly rushed in and fell into the trap. You idiots, you've caused my death. I won't let you off even if I become a ghost. The elder of the Great Sky sect broke down. He pointed his finger at those who had come to cause trouble for Wu Wuti. He thought that if it weren't for this group of people acting willfully, they wouldn't have ended up like this. He was an elder with an infinitely bright future. He was only 10,000 years old, very young. There was still hope for him to reach the Saint Realm, but now he had to die in this place. He regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. Fuck, it's my fault. It's all my fault for encouraging you to seek revenge on Wu Wuti. Do you want to settle the score with me now? Come on, let's fight. I'm not afraid of you. How could that person stand it? He immediately retorted. In fighting? In the distance, Xiaoping blinked. He hadn't expected this to happen. At such a critical moment, this group of people had actually started infighting. They began to bite each other and blame each other. This was human nature. In a situation of certain death, some people wouldn't unite. Instead, they would blame each other and kill each other. Boom. At that moment, a tyrannical dark aura rose from the depths of the formation into the sky. Suddenly, a wave of power descended from the void. Everyone looked over and immediately discovered that they were all mighty figures from the Palace of Darkness. Each of them emitted an aura like the dark abyss, causing the void to tremble. Wu Wudi, you are indeed a peerless demon. You are even more ruthless than us demonic disciples from the Palace of Darkness. You set up a trap and actually made a group of mighty figures kill each other. You are an expert at playing with people's hearts. You are 100 times more terrifying than venerable mental demon of ancient times. Chapter 1898. The person who spoke was Xiang Yuandong from the Palace of Darkness. He was a peak tribulation lightning expert and one of the leaders of the Palace of Darkness. He had the ability to command hundreds of people. In reality, the group of disciples from the Palace of Darkness had arrived here long ago. However, in order to observe Xia Ping's weakness, they had hidden themselves and let others take the lead. But now they had no choice but to show themselves. If they still did not show themselves, the group of tribulation lightning experts would probably all be killed in one fell swoop by Wu Wudi. Even though their threat to Wu Wudi had increased by several levels, they were still shocked when they saw that the kid really had the ability to kill countless Thunder Tribulation Almighties. Originally, the group of disciples from the Palace of Darkness had thought that other than the Central Universe, the other places were barbarians. There were not many who could fight, so they had underestimated them. But now that they saw Wu Wudi, they no longer underestimated him. If they had not been hiding in the dark, they would have fallen for his trap long ago and been unable to extricate themselves. Kill? In an instant, Xiang Yuandong attacked. He took out a 3-foot-long sword condensed from white bone. A terrifying aura immediately erupted, shaking the heavens and earth and countless stars. This aura tore through the void and seemed to cause the surrounding formation lines to crack and shatter. A saint artifact. Everyone was immediately shocked. There was no doubt that this was a saint artifact. Moreover, it was not a low-grade saint artifact, but a powerful mid-grade saint artifact. Wu Wudi, it's a worthy death for you to die under this mid-grade saint artifact, the Dawn White Bone Sword. Xiang Yuandong shouted. He circulated all the magic in his body and poured it into the mid-grade saint artifact, then swung the sword down. Suddenly, a white sword light bombarded down. It was hundreds of millions of kilometers long, as if it wanted to split the void of the universe in half. This could be called the attack of a saint, and its power was earth-shattering. Everyone was shocked. They felt that this was the true power of heaven and earth. In the face of such power, they were no different from ants. They would be crushed into powder in an instant. That kid is dead for sure. For the sake of killing him, the Palace of Darkness has actually used a medium-quality saint artifact. They're far too rich. They really do live up to their reputation as one of the 2 sacred grounds of the human race. I've heard of the origin White Bone Sword before. It seems to have been refined from the bones of some demon saint-level abyssal fiendish demons. It contains a terrifying fiendish power. With a single slash, the white bones will turn everything within hundreds of millions of kilometers into a dead zone. It can be said to be an extremely terrifying sacred weapon of the demonic path. I never thought that it would fall into the hands of Xiang Yuandong. In any case, Wu Wudi is done for. No matter how many trump cards he has, there is no way he can fight against Xiang Yuandong, who possesses a sage artifact. Everyone discussed the matter, especially the Thunder Tribulation Realm mighty figures who were on the brink of death. They were overjoyed. As long as they killed Wu Wudi and destroyed the array, the tribulations in their bodies would not be triggered. This was equivalent to saving their lives. The sword slashed down and the Heavenly Domain Stellar Array, Peach Blossom Miasma Array and 5 Elemental Lightning Tribulation Array were instantly shattered. All the magic array's foundations were reduced to powder. At the same time, everyone was freed from the restraints of the formation. However, this unforeseen event was also part of Xia Ping's plan. His expression did not change. Palace of Darkness, you finally appeared. I've been waiting for a long time. I thought you wouldn't dare to show your faces. However, do you think that a mere mid-grade sacred weapon can kill me? You're too arrogant. The reason why I didn't kill you was because I was waiting for you to appear. Come out, star-shifting array. Xia Ping took a step forward and formed a seal with both hands, activating the last array that had been set up in the surrounding void. What? Fuck, even at this time this guy still has a trump card. Everyone's eyes widened. They looked as if they had been fucked. A large array rose up. Stars densely covered it, forming the star-shifting array. This array could divert the enemy's divine power. It could be considered a defensive array. Immediately, the sword light from the origin white bone sword was wrapped up by the star-shifting array. It was instantly transferred to another place and bombarded the black-yellow continent in the depths of the void. Boom. Everyone heard a series of cracking sounds, as if the heavens were breaking apart. The many array formations that had been marked in the void were immediately smashed apart by the sword light. The continent that had been hidden in the depths of the void suddenly lost its protective strength. It fell down from the void and appeared in front of everyone. At the same time, all of the restrictive spell formations that had been set up on the continent shattered, turning into powder. They were completely destroyed and boundless sword chi spread out in the surroundings. It had to be said that the origin white bone sword was incomparably powerful. The sword light shot into the heavens. This strike simply surpassed the limits of the peak thunder tribulation realm. It left everyone shocked. What's going on? Why is there another continent in this part of the starry skies? How come we didn't see it just now? Many supreme elders immediately saw the continent that had suddenly appeared, leaving them shaken. I know, it must be a mysterious continent left behind by the good fortune saint. There must be some rare treasures on it. There might even be a revival good fortune pill. Someone shouted. Everyone's eyes immediately brightened with joy. The continent that had been hidden by the good fortune saint was undoubtedly extremely valuable. After all, there were so many continents in the heavens fortune chart. The other continents had not been hidden, but this continent had. There was definitely a great secret hidden within. Even if they used their knees to think, they would still think of this. If a revival good fortune pill appeared, even if they had to risk their lives, they would still snatch it. Wait, damn it, there's something wrong with this continent. It contains an incomparably evil will and rich abyssal demonic energy. A massive number of tyrannical abyssal demons have been sealed here. An angel elder shouted. As pure and holy angels, they were extremely sensitive to the aura of demons. They immediately sensed an inexplicable danger emanating from the depths of this continent. That's right, this continent has imprisoned a massive number of peak thunder tribulation realm great demons. Damn it, what did Wu Wuti do? Why did he release these abyssal demons? What did he do? A Buddhist elder gnashed his teeth in anger. He immediately realized that this had to be Wu Wuti's plan. He had most likely used their hands to tear apart the array formation of this continent and release the sealed abyssal demons. Retreat, retreat. The abyssal demons on that continent are about to come out. Hurry and retreat. These abyssal demons are no trifling matter. They are not trash demons that can compare to them. They are true great demons that have the potential to become demon sages. Xiang Yuandong's expression changed as he repeatedly warned them. Wu Wuti, you son of a bitch, what have you done this time? Just how much do you want us to die before you stop? The group of people was scared half to death. Their faces were deathly white. They hated Wu Wuti to death. Chapter 1899. Before they could grab Xia Ping, balls of terrifying abyssal demonic energy surged out of the continent. Instantly, countless powerful abyssal demons broke free. Haha, we're out. We're finally out. Damn that old ghost creation. He trapped us here for so many years. We almost died. When we get out this time, we must kill all his disciples and grand disciples. Kiki, there are so many living beings here. What a dense aura. They're all top-grade food. Kill them and we'll be free. Let's start a massacre to celebrate. Many abyssal demons laughed wildly. They ran out of the continent in a frenzy, afraid that they would be sealed again if they were too late. When they saw the people from the Palace of Darkness, they were all extremely excited. They were like people who were dying of thirst who suddenly saw a pot of clear spring water. How could they hold themselves back? After being sealed for so long, no one could imagine how much they thirsted for flesh and souls. Die, all of you, die. Die in the lava. A lava demon flew out. Its body seemed to be made of lava and emitted the smell of sulfur. It was like a devil that had walked out of hell. Its body was 80,000 feet tall. It waved its hand and instantly turned the surrounding thousands of kilometers into a river of lava. Thousands of volcanoes erupted everywhere and smoke rose. The flames that erupted weren't ordinary flames. They were demonic flames from the abyss. They contained corrosive, toxic, burning, and infectious properties. If ordinary cultivators touched them, they would immediately turn to ashes. Oh. Many cultivators couldn't resist and screamed in pain. Their bodies were covered in flames and burned, turning into huge torches that shot into the sky. Souls. Delicious souls. The heavenly demons laughed cruelly. They were formless and invisible. They passed through the void and emitted a monstrous demonic aura. They instantly invaded the bodies of the living beings and devoured their souls. In an instant, these cultivators' eyes became lifeless. Their bodies became empty shells. Even their souls were sucked out. My stomach hurts. My stomach hurts. Why do I keep having diarrhea? Tell me, why is this happening? An extreme poison devil released a roar. Its entire body was condensed from black liquid, and it had 300 eyes. It released a foul stench and large amounts of poison surged within its body. Its favorite thing was to eat all kinds of poisonous substances, but its body could not digest them in time, so it often had stomachaches and diarrhea in the wild. However, the things it excreted contained highly toxic substances that polluted the earth, turning the surrounding thousands of kilometers into a toxic swamp. It was equivalent to moving pollutants. Often, the planets it appeared on would turn into a living hell. Even after hundreds of millions of years, no one would be able to live there. It roared and went berserk. The venom on its body turned into sharp arrows and shot out, bombarding the surrounding cultivators. The venom instantly corroded their bodies. Ah! Countless people let out blood-curdling screams. This kind of venom was 10 times more terrifying than the venom refined by the 10,000 Poison Clan. Some people were instantly covered by the venom and their entire body melted, leaving nothing behind. Even with magical treasures, they could not withstand the corrosion of the venom. In an instant, the magical treasures were completely corroded, and the runic arrays inside were all destroyed. Damned abyss demons, kill it! We must kill them all. Everyone roared and immediately attacked, using their mystiques. They had fought countless times with the abyss demons, and knew how terrifying they were. They could not be negotiated, nor could they coexist. They were naturally hostile races. Either this group of abyss demons died or they died. Right now they could not care about chasing after Xiaoping. All of them attacked the group of abyss demons, using all their skills and almost risking their lives. Xiang Yuandong from the Palace of Darkness wanted to find Xiaoping and kill this scourge with one sword strike. However, Xiaoping had long fled, hiding in the depths of the void. Therefore he vented his anger on the group of abyss demons. Waving the source-time white bone sword in his hand, he killed one powerful abyss demon after another. He was invincible. At this time, Xiaoping stealthily neared the land formed from the black-yellow soil. Oh! As soon as he arrived, he immediately discovered that this land was very unusual. It was a single entity, and every inch of the soil was engraved with restrictive arrays. It seemed to have been smelted into a magical treasure. Even if many Lightning Tribulation Realm experts fought on it, they would not be able to damage it at all. Even after the restrictive arrays on this land were destroyed, they seemed to be slowly recovering. They had the ability to recover on their own. It was no wonder that the group of abyss demons had fled so quickly. They probably thought that if they did not escape, they would be sealed by the restored restrictive arrays again. This is the ginseng fruit tree? Xiaoping entered the black-yellow land and reached the deepest part of the land. There was an orchard that occupied tens of thousands of kilometers. There were 9 huge fruit trees in the depths of the orchard. Each tree was extremely tall and had well-developed roots. They occupied thousands of kilometers and reached hundreds of kilometers underground. At the same time, the 9 fruit trees seemed to have supreme spirituality, as though they had given birth to a weak intelligence. They completely fused with the black-yellow land and the restrictive arrays here, giving birth to a huge tree world domain. Anyone who stepped into this domain would be expelled or even destroyed. There were many ginseng fruits growing on the fruit trees. They were filled with the rich aura of spirit fruits. At the same time, they emitted circles of golden light, as though they contained the power of laws. It was extremely strange. I see. Xiaoping also understood why the group of abyss demons didn't destroy the ginseng fruit trees on this land. It turned out that the 9 ginseng fruit trees were the 9 cores of the restrictive arrays on this land. Under the tree world domain, the group of abyss demons couldn't do anything. If they dared to continue attacking, they would probably be suppressed again with a flip of their hands. Hence, this place had become a taboo area for the abyss demons. They didn't dare to approach. It seems like it won't be that easy to snatch this black-yellow land away. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. According to his previous plan, as long as he approached this land, he would immediately put the mountain river pearl into the space to suppress it with a wave of his hand. But now, it seemed that if he forcibly suppressed it, the 9 ginseng fruit trees would definitely resist. They would trigger the restrictive arrays inside, and endless energy would erupt. When that happened, he would be severely injured on the spot. The 9 ginseng fruit trees that had lived for countless years contained extraordinary energy. If they had intelligence, they would have long advanced to the sage realm. Chapter 1900. Just as Xia Ping was trying his best to think of a way to take this piece of Shenhuang land away, the world tree rooted in the void in the depths of his sea of consciousness suddenly shook. Suddenly, a strong aura of life and the aura of the world emanated from his body, instantly enveloping the entire piece of Shenhuang land, pervasive. This was the supreme aura of the tree, the apex of all plants. The 9 ginseng fruit trees that had been sleeping in the depths of the orchard were suddenly awakened. Their huge bodies bent slightly, their branches swayed, and their leaves rustled as if they were cheering. Such a posture was like meeting the ancestor of the tree, like a commoner meeting the emperor. The restrictive formations around the orchard were instantly opened, and a spacious safe passage appeared as if welcoming Xia Ping into it. Whoosh! Xia Ping's figure flashed, and he immediately entered the depths of the orchard. He found that all the plants in the orchard had developed a sense of intimacy with him, as if they were welcoming him, the ancestor of the plants. Dong. He subconsciously reached out and gently tapped on one of the ginseng fruit trees. The world tree in the depths of his body trembled, and an emerald aura instantly gushed out, instilling in the depths of this ginseng fruit tree. At the same time, the other 8 ginseng fruit trees also trembled, as if they were extremely excited. They kept waving their branches, and the burnt yellow leaves fell and scattered on the ground, making a rustling sound. The 9 ginseng fruit trees were growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The originally yellow bark, which seemed to have lost all its water, was falling rapidly, and was replaced by new bark. The branches on the trees trembled and the yellow leaves fell, while the emerald leaves grew wildly. The branches were full of leaves, and the whole body exuded an aura of vitality. The roots in the depths of the earth were also constantly extending, wriggling like pythons, absorbing the nutrients in the depths of the earth. It was like a withered tree in the spring, and infinite vitality was born again. Resurrected. Xia Ping blinked his eyes. He finally knew what had just happened. These 9 ginseng fruit trees were really too old. No one knew how many years they had lived, but they were really old antiques. Even the lifespan of an ordinary planet was no more than this. Even as plants, their lifespan was much longer than ordinary creatures. But if they had not become sages, there would always be a day when their lifespan would come to an end. Today they had reached the end of their lifespan. However, now that he had encountered the world tree and obtained a trace of the world tree's origin energy, he immediately regained his youth and regained his life. This was a special ability of the world tree. It could revive and transform plants. It had the power to turn something rotten into something magical. That was why the 9 ginseng fruit trees were so excited. After accepting the world tree's origin energy, Xia Ping sensed that he had formed a mental connection with the 9 ginseng fruit trees. It seemed like the world tree had formed a soul contract with them, making them subordinates of the world tree. It was as if he could control the 9 ginseng fruit trees with just a thought. At the same time, he easily controlled the restriction and formation of the entire Shenhuang land. It was as if he was controlling a magic treasure. There was no longer any power that resisted him. Very good, I finally got it. Xia Ping was overjoyed. Without hesitation, he waved his hand and immediately placed this piece of Shenhuang land into the space inside the mountain river pearl, making it a small piece of land. However, the sudden disappearance of a piece of land immediately attracted the attention of those who were fighting with the abyss demons. After all, such a large piece of land had disappeared. It was a place where the abyss demons were sealed. It was impossible for them not to notice. What's going on? Why did that piece of Shenhuang land disappear? Someone was extremely shocked and didn't know what had happened. Damn it. That tortoise Wu Wudi took it away. The entire piece of land was taken away by him. Nothing was left. One of the 10,000 Poison Clan's elders gritted his teeth. He had been keeping a close eye on Wu Wudi and was aware of his every move. He had been looking for an opportunity to eliminate this shameless scourge, so he was aware of Wu Wudi's actions. What? The entire piece of land was taken away by him? What kind of joke is this? That piece of land itself is an unparalleled treasure. It is formed from Shenhuang soil. If we get it, we can immediately build an unparalleled herb garden and plant countless spiritual herbs. How did he take it away? And Yuanming sect elder was extremely anxious. In fact, when that piece of land appeared, he immediately recognized that it was the famous Shenhuang soil. It was a famous unique soil in the world. To an alchemist, it was an unparalleled treasure. No other treasure could replace it. The value of Shenhuang soil was indescribable. Originally, he had wanted to dig up a few pieces of that piece of land after exterminating this group of abyssal demons. Who would have thought that before he could do anything, the entire piece of land would be snatched away by Wu Wudi? Not even a single hair was left. It can't be. The entire piece of land is Shenhuang soil. Doesn't that mean we have missed out on an unparalleled treasure? Just how much is it worth? Someone pounded his chest in regret. If he had known this would happen, he would have stopped Wu Wudi. Such a large piece of Shenhuang soil had been taken away without any benefits. How much is it worth? There's no way to measure it. Even sages can't find much Shenhuang soil. This is a rare treasure. Even if you exchange it for an inferior grade sage artifact, I'm afraid not many people would be willing. The Yuanming sect elder gritted his teeth, feeling extremely jealous. Hearing this, the group of people felt so regretful that their intestines turned green. They were not knowledgeable enough and could not immediately tell that the yellow soil was the famous Shenhuang soil. But those who were knowledgeable had their own selfish motives. They did not want this news to leak out, lest others fight with them for the treasure. But who would have thought that Wu Wudi would be so greedy that he would take away such a large piece of land without letting them obtain a single cent? No, that piece of land is not as simple as Shenhuang soil. It is also a precious medicine garden left behind by the good fortune saint. A heaven reflection sect elder clenched his fists. Just now, I activated my heaven reflection divine eye and saw through the array formation. I saw 9 famous ginseng fruit trees growing in that medicine garden. What did you say? Ginseng fruit trees? The legendary ginseng fruit that takes 10,000 years to bloom, 10,000 years to bear fruit, and 10,000 years to ripen? The ginseng fruit that can increase one's dermic powers, increase one's lifespan, and strengthen one's divine powers? Everyone screamed. That's right, it's the legendary ginseng fruit, the heaven reflection sect elder said bitterly. When he saw this, he was instantly tempted. He immediately wanted to kill his way to that piece of land and snatch all the ginseng fruits. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.